or is this the beginning of the war winding down? I don't have the answer to that.
It's a wind down. These are two older gentlemen at the peak of their political and, generational affairs. This is a de-escalation in 2025 from a proxy geographic specific area of the world. I mean, all of these weapons have been flying there, millions of people dying. And when an American president and the Russian leader get together, it's not to expand the war, it's to de-escalate the war.
I'd love to get Anson's thoughts.
Hey, I don't know what you guys have been talking about, but I am one pissed off over it. What a bunch of bullshit. They didn't say anything. They said of substance. There was all this crap from Putin about Russian, American, Alaska, blah, 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 and then some more fluff from Trump, and absolutely nothing of substance. Trump said we agreed on a lot of things, but some things we still are working on. Well, obviously, there's no fucking ceasefire, or they would have been bragging their ass off about that. So forget a ceasefire. Trump says he's going to talk more with Zelensky and NATO. Well, of course he is. But this whole thing that happened right now leaves wide open. God, the clubhouse is going to friggin' explode, pardon my French, because there's nothing of substance, so there's going to be this wild speculation. Marshall, correct me if I'm wrong, but somebody told me the substantial part of the critical thinking crap, peripheral crap, but I'm not trying to criticize that room, but Jesus Christ, they should have said something of substance. They didn't. The world still wonders, and social media, the press, and everybody else is going to go apeshit this weekend, and I don't know who in the hell is going to stand up and say, wait a minute, we really did make progress here, and here, we're still debating here, and we don't know what the fuck we're going to do about this, that, and the other thing. I mean, why don't we have a press conference that tells the goddamn truth?
The next step will be Zelensky coming back over.
Roger, I don't know what the fuck is going to happen next based on the press conference. We're all going to speculate, and somebody, we're going to argue over the fucking speculation. But nobody knows what the hell's going on. Well, somebody knows what the hell's going on. Rubio, Witkoff, Trump, Russian foreign minister, certainly Putin and Trump. But, we're just going to be left hanging. And, I think I'm going to go crawl in the hole, not read the newspaper, not get on Clubhouse, wait for a week to see what the hell's going to come out of this thing. Sorry, but I wish I could be more enlightening and encouraging, but God damn, this is so much bullshit, and you're not satisfied with the statement of the president. What? Satisfied with the statement of the president? Hell no, not by either one of them. I mean, Jesus Christ, they didn't say anything of substance, of progress or lack of progress. They said they were in agreement on several issues. Yeah, but what fucking issues were they in agreement on? Do they like the way each other wears their socks? Or, come on,
you'd like them to just put a live camera in the negotiating room so we can do that. You know, in the middle of a deal, we're going to just come out and tell the whole world exactly what's going on.
As I was sitting here on my couch at my deal with my companion, and she hates Fox News, but I turned it to Fox News and said, I really want to see this press conference and hear the reaction. And I told her, I said, this may be historic. Well, it was. It was a historic dump. And no substance. No reason to do anything except guess what the hell's going on.
That's where we not discuss the press conference. If they're in agreement with substantive enough items, that Putin is telling
the left side of the clubhouse and the press, Trump caved again. Well, we don't know whether he caved or not. We don't know whether Putin caved or not.
It was a productive meeting.
Well, I think bullshit on productive meeting. I want to know the substance of why they think it's a productive meeting.
So I have just a question for anybody that had, to take the chance and seems to be progressing here, and maybe I look at things differently. But the United States is trying to be a peace broker here between an adversarial nation and then one that we have historically crossed with, right? So the conflict, the war, is Russia, a sovereign nation state, and Ukraine, a sovereign nation state. The United States is not an active participant in the conflict. The United States has provided funding and resources to one side and is trying to play global power broker in this conversation, right? And so the United States leader having a meeting with one of the parties, why on earth would anyone think that at the end of that meeting, the general public, the Joe Schmo American population, would be given any information? I don't get that piece as an expectation. When they scheduled this meeting, I had no expectation that we, the general public and Joe Schmoes of America, were going to know the specifics of what was discussed, given that now Trump has to go have the conversation with the other side, the side that we have supported, the side that our allies have supported, and communicate what the conversation was with Russia. I don't know why anybody would reasonably expect that there would be a whole lot of specifics on anything given to the general public until that meeting happens.
Things until you have an agreement on the other side. And so whatever they've agreed upon is now going to be obviously presented to Zelensky, and Zelensky's going to have to put on his big boy pants and go through that and hopefully agree to those things so that they can move forward. Because this is between Ukraine and Russia. As Brent said, the U.S. is trying to broker peace between the two countries. Yes, I agree. Thank you, Brent.
This is really the perfect room title because Trump and Putin get all or nothing accusations and all or nothing complaints all the time on this app. So in my opinion, this is going to be one really spicy in the muff.
The problem, John, is that we're all going to guess. We're all going to make assumptions. I mean, I can't imagine what the Washington Post is going to have to say tomorrow, but I'll guarantee you it's going to be anti-Trump because they're going to be guessing as to what the hell happened. Well, something of substance evidently happened. Not the whole substance, but some substance. So tell us what that substance is. But then again, you're right. Little old me, I have no right to know what the substance is. Let them negotiate, and then once a peace treaty is signed, then I can agree or disagree with the terms of the peace treaty. But that's not the way the world works today. And we're going to get ourselves, I'm in a lather because of lack of substance. They both said there was substance. They both said there was progress. Great. Just tell me what that was. And tell me where you still disagree. And then I can have a rational discussion, God forbid, about how we might be able to solve the things that they still disagree on. But we're left with nothing, absolutely nothing, from what, in my view, should have been a historic event.
I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse, so I'm just going to kind of hit this one on one side.
We're an enterprise that's losing $100 billion a year.
When we deal with
$100 billion because of a mismatch.
When you deal with treaty delegations, most of that process is not made public until you hit the end, because it is not productive or conducive to what you're trying to accomplish, to bring the entire world and the general public that frankly has no direct decision-making impact into the process. So I agree with you, Anthony. As a private citizen, I would love to know what's going on. I would love to have a camera in the room. That'd be interesting. But if the purpose is truly for the United States government to broker a peace deal or a ceasefire or some sort of progressive movement here between Russia and Ukraine to stop this, global mess of a war that's impacting and, not having to sit and wait above actually accomplishing something. That's why we do that in the courts, right? There's only so much that's made public prior to a verdict. There's only so much that's made public in negotiations. Hell, corporate mergers, there's only so much they have to publicly provide until the deal is struck, at which point it's appropriate and safe to tell everybody what happened. The desire to know in the middle of the process is natural, but I just think it's an unrealistic demand for people to have.
And isn't it entirely possible that maybe some of the negotiations that they've actually hammered out are contingent on the ones that hadn't been hammered out yet? And so it may be that they don't want to too early because that second contingent isn't ironed out. Perhaps Russia's like, no, I don't want the world to know that we agreed to X, Y, or Z.
Well, while we were having a totally unrelated discussion, and a rational discussion, somebody, and I think it was, John, I think, maybe, provided information that in another room in Clubhouse, it was all, why did he get a red carpet treatment? Why did he's being bamboozled again? Blah, 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 blah. The TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome, and what's going on. And Trump, to a degree, brings this on himself. He raises my expectations that he's going to have a meeting and it's going to be of real substance. Now, if the substance was, screw you, Putin, we're going to keep fighting and I'm going to knock your ass off with reparations or whatever, tariffs or whatever, fine, But Trump raises these expectations that he's going to get a Nobel Peace Prize that Hillary Clinton now says she's going to endorse if he brings peace to it. So these expectations of greatness are raised, and we get nothing. We get nothing of substance. All we get is bullshit. I guess what I'm saying is, I'm tired of the bullshit. I want substance. Okay, I have to be patient. I have to just wait and see and quit yakking. But I'm tired of bullshit, and I want to hear some substance.
I consider it a peace agreement, essentially. So they're in agreement. The words came out of Putin's mouth.
A peace agreement? Are you kidding me?
Stop. It's time for you to be honest
real quick. Yeah, we've experienced these things, and right now, the U.S. taxpayers and the money that we borrow is funding this fight, and so you have Donald Trump having a conversation with a dictator about an invasion that the dictator launched. Now the question is, how do we end it? There's a couple of ways that this could come to an end. All of them seem fairly unrealistic. One of them, I don't know what you guys want to see. All I'm saying is that there is a lot of people dying. There is a lot of Russians dying. The facts that are on the table. Now we just have to ask ourselves, which of these problems are we going to try to ease up on? Is it the spending of a solution here? But the better solution would be to minimize human suffering. That's the best solution, in my opinion. But what do I know?
Well, what Ken went on was exactly what I'm so deeply concerned with. I mean, he left to a degradation of anything and everything Trump. But we don't know the substance of what was agreed to or not. So how the hell can we make a judgment on this particular meeting and whether it advanced or retarded progress towards what I hope all of us want is peace? And so the lack of information is obviously impatient. I'm really disturbed, all that kind of stuff, and I apologize. I'm trying to have a rational discussion. But this obfuscation, this bullshit that we are being fed when there is substance, I'm sure there is real substance, some good, some bad. But what is the substance? And until we have that substance, then I confused it. I apologize.
You know what? The American people are tired of paying for the funeral. Wrap it up.
Not only is it not historic, it's something, I don't know, what do you call something that's on the negative side of historic? Degrading, I don't know, disappointing, disgusting. It just, there were, how in the hell can we argue about whether it was good, bad, or indifferent?
Because so Anthony,
Are the replays on?
what would that change for your life tomorrow? I think you had
Truth in some of everything everybody says, because for some it may have been the showmanship which Trump has portrayed with so many other big leaders, and I guess kind of looking for that showmanship that have a spark of it and not see it at all could lead to a lot of thoughts where you have to treat one different than the other because he's into.
What up, Jane? Yeah, Brad wants to,
Well, how are things going with your fundraising?
Well, we've got over $500 in the bank, so I can't loser. He's created $20 trillion in debt and said if you don't get vaxxed, you're all going to die. That seems pretty unstable to me.
Well, I must hurt a fellow Jew, but many things I like to get. That's okay. I'm not a fan of yours, John.
What do you mean?
Political perspective, I'm a fan of you as a funny person.
Well, that's okay, because I can win you over then.
But I don't live in Chicago.
Doesn't matter. You can still donate to the campaign. I'm going to pin the link for you right now.
I'm going to give you $18 when I confirm that it's a real campaign.
Give me $1, and then
$18.
let Menachem Schneerson, decide.
I'm going to get in trouble for talking to you.
Well, there's enough complainers to go around. They're everywhere.
I guess. How do your parents feel about it?
My uncle ran, so I'm just doing what my uncle did. But my uncle didn't win. I'm trying to win.
Yeah, no, I think you have the tenacity, temerity, and overall constitution for it. It's good.
Yeah, I got roasted hard. I've been battling Brad like you can't believe. This guy is, intense.
He's like going after you. What is stolen valor? What the fuck?
Stolen valor. What are to the crimes that he's actually violating by making death threats on the internet? So.
Oh, jeez, I think I got enough from Elena. Why am I talking to you?
Losers in Congress.
See, it's okay. I love Elena. All
Well, put yourself in my shoes. I have to listen to all your stupid shit and record all your stupid shit.
I barely fucking talk, dude. I'm a listener. I'm more of a listener.
Oh, I see.
But, except for my own.
So that's why you don't feel,
Flips here and there, so I don't get it in the same way, but, I'm a younger person, John. Older than you, but younger than Trump, so. But I shall leave now. I don't know if I wish you luck in your campaign.
Well, I don't have one specific topic on Joe, but my topic choices are obviously always anything related to movies, TV, pop culture, social issues, human interest, true crime. I'm trying to think what else.
No, I don't have any APEC money.
That's all I can come up with right now.
Ass sex.
I'm sorry, I'm shopping and I can't tell you where.
We can't talk about those things for the first time on the stage, remember?
You know what? She needs to get exposure therapy to some of these nonsense that I know. That's what I do. By the way, do you guys like my new PTR?
Love your new PTR.
Best
That striking PTR. It's going to annoy all the right people.
I have no criticism except for the fact that it would be nice.
Well, you know what? Also, if I had to complain about AI image generators, is that you kind of cut the scarf off. It just looks weird, and it looks a little more pixelated than the last photo. So I'm not really impressed, but I like the idea, and I may go to Cafe Press just to get a short. I'm driving, so I can't put the poll up. But if one of you ladies can handle the poll,
I'll do it.
all right. And do it.
It's going to be good.
Sonia with a J in the group. I saw earlier in the chat you got asked me if there's a room here tomorrow where we can discuss Candace Owens' lawsuit. Yes, ma'am.
Why don't you give us your thoughts on the Trump Putin experience, and then we're going to put a poll up. We're going to change the subject, hopefully, to something very uplifting and inspiring that stays consistent with the vibe, the mojo, good.
Good Shabbos to everybody. We should let the peace of the day calm us down and cool us off. I don't have anything good to add others. This meeting is an embarrassment. I'm listening to Trump. He's, again, no offense to anybody, he's battling an enormous army and lots of nuclear weapons. And Trump doesn't know what he's doing, doesn't know what he's talking about. He's literally making no sense. I just have to be critical and honest about my impression. So I don't have any good news for you.
Do you think it's possible the pageantry around it, right? Like if they decided that the war is gonna end, I don't think they would announce it from Alaska with Zelensky not there.
I don't understand how you're saying that. I don't understand how you're saying that without that.
Well, I will tell you what's going on here. I will tell you what's going on here. We cannot afford a head of a nuclear submarine squadron. Or you can get it from Stephen Kotkin, who's got a 3-volume, the best 3-volume biography of Stalin, who's a tremendous Russian historian and scholar. So the world is quite clear on this. The United States wants. So the world is quite clear on this. The United States wants out of the Middle East, which is why we're standing up in Israel to take over the Middle East. We want out of Europe, which is why we're standing up the European nations and telling them they're going to have to contribute a lot more money to their own national defense. They're spending nothing on their national defense. And we're saying to Putin, okay, guys, you figure it out, we're out. And Putin knows this, and he's going to milk that to the max. That's the best interpretation I can offer.
Trump is not gay. Putin is dark. Is dark. Is not gay, more gay. Trump.
Sorry, we have a
Control the world since after World War II. Why would we want to lose control of the world? Maybe we don't want to spend this.
Because we can't afford it.
We don't want to.
We want to, that we can't afford the military expenditure without spending that. Mojo will tell you, we're now spending more on servicing our debt than we are on our military. We can't keep spending this money like this. If we can't, the world cannot rely on the United States to defend them. And so we had to make a decision. As I said, under Obama, we went down from 2 war theaters in 1 brush fire. 1. So China is surrounded by U.S. bases, and we're preparing for them to make their move. That's my interpretation.
We'll have
irrigation. Kind of like that.
Yeah, same basically. Yeah. But that doesn't mean I don't want to pick the restaurant. That doesn't mean that I don't want the waiter to go. I would disagree with that.
Look, no shoes, no shirt, no service.
Unless you're a hippie and it's a restaurant at the beach in Malibu.
I don't understand the whole barefoot in the sand thing. Sand gets hot with stuff. Ew.
Ew. App and can see it to vote on what your topic pleasure would be. We would greatly appreciate it. It looks like free speech is.
You guys have a chance to determine what we talk about in the month. Sometimes people don't talk at all in the month. Sometimes people are quite quiet. Then there's people like El Normo that are quite vocal in these months. You get an opportunity to pick the topic in the month.
I mean, one of the world's most wanted war criminals in Alaska right now. I'd like to hear what people think about this.
It doesn't look good for Trump. It seems to have extended a lot of political capital. And I agree with most of these points. Trump seems to have extended quite a lot of political capital this week. They promised sanctions on Russia is the intelligence community whose son was fighting for Russia, quite a trollish attempt. And again, sanctions were not imposed. Instead, we get this Zelensky meeting, which was hyped up again to be the outcome that was supposed to be agreement to at least a ceasefire, right? That was the precondition for not imposing sanctions, and you get nothing. So, and he seems kind of unhappy.
Again, how do you know it's nothing? If I'm in the middle of a negotiation, I'm not telling you or the public shit. I'm holding all my cards really close until I made a deal with both sides of the equation.
Well, hold on. By the way, in a negotiation, if you're familiar with negotiating tactics, and specifically if you've read the art of the deal, the person that speaks first in terms of what they want is typically the one that's going to get the short end of the stick when it comes to the negotiation. So if you declare what you want, you put your cards on the table, and what's going to happen is there's a natural negotiation that will take place that will erode that position. And so the only thing you can really do is if you declare first, is you can overstate what you want.
Quite some time, right? And I recounted just the earliest, most recent part of the negotiation and the conditions, right? Are public. Trump wants ceasefire first. Conditions have been the same, right? So it's not starting today. The negotiation, the one that's happening. Trump has been publicly asking already in this part, right? Like the initial idea of, which is basically the last militarization of Ukraine, conditional territory that they hold and don't hold, and you've been looking at these things to the extent that Trump then said that unless you yield on any of those things, we will this ceasefire before we hash out the rest, right? I think it was 90 days or something. I don't remember the number of days, 6 days. And those 6 days run out just right? It could went to Moscow. And then the Alaska happened, so sanctions were not imposed.
Long life Osama bin Laden. Long life Osama bin Laden. The person we cannot reach out to on the please.
I think that's
First things we call for worst thing.
I put in the chat because I was recalling how many times Reagan met with them in Reagan's negotiations that ultimately resulted in a treaty, in the INF treaty. But there were many meetings, and Reagan, you know, it's just not happening overnight. There's so much posturing going on. But historically, our discussions with the Russians. I mean, I said this to someone else, George Bush W. met with Putin 28 times. You know, like it's just not one meeting and all of a sudden, poof, you have an agreement.
The only problem with that is that Trump's ran on that. I can tell you don't think he's lying when it was a lie. Like, that's crazy. You say you don't think he was lying when he literally lied. I got a phone call. I'll get back to you.
I would just say that he was campaigning, and when you campaign, that's what they do. And
so it didn't take one phone call, so it's going to take several meetings. So what? He's doing the meetings. He's brokering it. He's working towards it. I mean, I don't know if you can like look at it that way and just try to see the forest through the trees, kind of.
Yeah.
It took him a really long time, and Reagan also probably. You could tell me, Roger, historically, or go watch the Reagan movie with Dennis Quaid. But there's a good chance Reagan said when he was campaigning that he could, put the Russians in check and do it quickly.
They all exaggerate. I mean,
Probably right.
The problem is it's not the first round of negotiations with Russia, unless you're only counting personal meetings.
That's not accurate.
Well, if you remember, they met in Helsinki during the first Trump administration, and Trump's perspective does change my understanding. I think it's great to remember that this stuff evolves over time. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope you're right.
From years, Andreev, I'm trying to remember the name.
Oh, yeah,
I went through a bunch of them.
Was it Brezhnev? Is it Andrei Brezhnev?
Yeah, but then he wasn't in that long, where there was another one that got killed or died.
But here's the only thing I want to say.
That it's Matt, that's everyone's perspective on it.
So I'm hoping you're right as I say it. I'm wrong. I would be very happy. I'll buy dinner because we can't afford it right now. As opposed to Reagan conveying the message that we will outspend you. We will beat you in this Dodge because it's a nightmare over there. So the question is Trump conveying strength like Reagan did? We will outspend you. We will outlast you. We will bury you. Or is he conveying to Putin, as I think he is, we can't afford to
negotiations with Russia, various cuts, and I counted at least 11 already.
For which agreement?
We're not waiting.
Diplomacy between Bennett, Putin, Scholz, Zelensky, Trump, Putin phone calls.
thoughts on this one, Emperor? On this?
Istanbul second round, Russia, Ukraine. The 30-day ceasefire memorandum presented by United States and the talks around that. I'm counting.
That was Biden, though. Is that fair?
No, this is Trump.
I'm sorry.
On agreement to launch talks February 2025 with Trump. The Istanbul second round just didn't start today. They have been doing this, and it's been unsuccessful. So the trend line is not good. But as El Normo said, I would
look good.
Okay,
I mean, I guess that's the point. We could go with any treaty as you negotiate it and how long it takes to go through the process. And when you're in the middle of it, I mean, those of us that deal in negotiation, we could tell you that you have the people on either side saying this doesn't look good, and then boom, it happens.
Well, yeah, as Trump said, there is no deal until there is a deal. I agree with that. But I think we still can comment on the progression, success as it's happening. We don't have to sit and wait. My primary criticism is that Trump has moved from his electoral campaign position, right, which treated Ukraine as the party that is not negotiating, to completion today on Ukraine.
Okay, I asked Rob, and you can be critical. I asked Rob, times Putin and Trump have met over the last 10 years.
Talk initiatives and talks, right? Like, so for example, Kremlin.
No, but you said phone call when you were reading them all.
That was a round of negotiation. Like a phone call without that.
See, I don't know if I would agree with that, but you can make the point.
Well, okay, but like we have to consider that Putin himself doesn't travel at all. He doesn't travel to Ankara. He didn't travel to any of these negotiation rounds whatsoever, right? Like, so there have been many meetings in Istanbul. I think under Trump there was one meeting, right? And recent, the June 2025, right? Istanbul, that would be Istanbul second round negotiations, which
I did not have high expectations. Number one. Number two, it's kind of the point that Roger was saying.
Abby went into the matrix. I think it was Bren that was saying that, but I think Roger also said that.
I mean, I lived. I lived through Camp David Accords, and I lived through the process and of Begin and Sadat back and forth till that finally happened. I mean, it just there's posturing between the parties. Have you guys never been part of a mediation? And the clients are in one room until you eventually can iron out an agreement. I mean, it's just a process. To me, this is just part of a mediation.
Most have been observing and watching the demeanor, how Trump reacts. He always kind of softens up his target prior to them getting there, tenderize them a little bit. And then when they get there, there's always something that you can take away from it. And what that may be is whatever the listener or the person who's observing takes away. Wow, did you see what he said? Or did you hear? Trying to be that in-between piece? Or will we see in the next round when, he comes back, being who he is with others?
All right, so let me ask you something. Do you think your expectation is do you think that the expectation is those other ones happen pretty quick, that this one should? Is that where this is coming from?
Through bipartisan administrations.
For how long? How long was that ongoing?
Maybe more than a decade.
I'm sorry, Emperor, go ahead.
Yeah, the India-Pakistan has nothing to do with Trump. They both said this has really nothing to do with Trump. The Rwanda-Congo negotiations have been going on for, I think, close to a decade, maybe more, bipartisan through U.S. administration. It's still credit to Trump that he finalized it. It's great, but it's been going on forever.
Okay, Abby, and by the way, your PTR is fucking awesome. Can you ask the question again? I'm sorry, I need to brief. Hang on once. Hey, hang on one.
I'll quickly answer that. I think I'm not judging on that stuff. I'm judging him by his own setting of expectation. He said, right, that there would be X days and within campaign stuff, right? Okay, excluding the campaign stuff, from the beginning of an administration, there is this recurring kind of thing where he really sets the expectation of what's going to happen and keeps backtracking on them, just like he backtracked now with the summit.
Okay, so the question is, Abby, I think your question is, because this policies and things that happen have been kind of consistent, can we expect more of the same? Is that basically what your question is?
Yeah, I mean, that's three peace agreements and
Yeah. And I would say what Trump is going to do or say 1 minute to the next. I mean, he illegally and unconstitutionally bombed a sovereign nation without an imminent threat, approval of Congress, or declaration of war. Trump
didn't need it, Mike, did he?
Yeah, he does. Yes, he does. Without imminent threat. Without imminent threat.
There was absolutely
there was not.
Whoa, are we talking about Iran? You can get into that if you want to. Yes. Talk about the delivery capability and what.
I'm just saying we're not talking about.
Was telling us.
Right. The IMEA, the literal regulation force that literally exists to investigate this, said no, they don't have nuclear weapons.
Mike, when was the last declaration of war?
Hey, Mike. Abby, just a second. My hearing is okay. If we could just go down, just thank you.
Yeah, you're right. I apologize.
Mike, when was the last declaration of war in the United States?
The entire point I'm trying to make
when was the last declaration?
That's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
It's what you said. You did it without a declaration. I asked you when it was.
Well, without a declaration is not an imminent threat to life, safety, or security. If that is an imminent threat, we need to glass half the planet.
And what about the 26,000 bombs and drone strikes that Obama did? I hate to do the whataboutism.
Yeah, well, that's all that is.
That's under AUMF authorized by.
That's all that is. What about it? What about that? Oh, so somebody else did something unconstitutional, so Trump gets a pass, but it's okay because it's your
policy of our president. It's been the policy of our president. From Clinton.
This guy is wrong. Abby, this guy's wrong. All the president has to do is notify Congress 48 hours after the action. He doesn't necessarily have to go through, and he has to just put it to the Gang of 8. He doesn't have to notify full of Congress. The AMF has a lot of carve-outs.
You've been watching too many movies,
so this guy is a blowhard and a bullshit.
You've been watching too many movies. You don't know political at all.
No, I don't
really,
know.
I don't. But
I work in it. It sounds like you don't actually know what you're fucking talking about.
I sat with my member of Congress who's a Democrat who agreed with what he did. So, you're just mischaracterizing this. And it's been our policy with our president. Since World War II, we have not had a declaration of war. There was not an obligation. Our intelligence told us where they were, what the threat was, and they made a decision based on our intelligence and based on where they were in their proliferation. End of story. Keep going.
And as we will do again.
Hopefully.
He's probably gone because, again, he got packed up and realized that other people knew what the fuck they were talking about, and Rachel Maddow doesn't get to rule the fucking day with her feelings.
But I still
Brad, you're right. I mean, it's after, not before. And if I'm not mistaken, that came in place because of what Nixon did, correct?
Correct. It did come in place. In 1973, it became the policy, if I'm right, after Vietnam.
Yeah. So they can do what they want to do, and then they can go ahead and bring it to their attention.
Yeah, and it's a whole variety of ways that they can notify Congress. I don't agree with it. I don't actually like it a little bit. I get some of the strategic and imminent threat strikes, but what that guy was sitting on stage and fucking bloviated on, it's clearly he never even read the baseline documentation for it. So, I don't know. Abby's correct on this one. You don't have to notify 48 hours prior to your imminent attack. If that was the case, we have a whole lot of fucking problems going back through to a lot of presidencies. and a lot of Congress being absent in their duties to invoke and make sure that that was being followed. Because quite frankly, every single administration broke the law then.
So I just wanted to go back to my question on the topic that we were on. If anyone wants to jump in on that, and I didn't know how long these. I thought India and Pakistan that just erupted and ended, and I really thought Trump did have involvement with that. So I guess I've been corrected on that one, unless someone else has more info on it.
I think he tried to take credit for it. It was bound to happen. He got a little bit mixed, and then wanted to claim it was his deal.
And then in Africa?
The Congo, Rwanda. I agree on domestic authority, although some people might disagree and have legal arguments. The president intended Article 2 of the Constitution. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not bound and beholden by the UN Charter nor the Geneva Conventions. We don't actually recognize.
Well, your Constitution.
UN Charter. We just don't.
Are you arguing that the United States is a rogue nation and is illegal?
They're not. Listen, hold on. Listen. Brad's correct here. I think that there is an international expectation that we would abide by. We don't give a shit about it.
We don't recognize any world court or any world authority above us or any governing body above us. We will not recognize.
I'm talking about specific thing. I'm talking about the UN Charter. Are you saying that
the UN Charter does not matter to the Constitution, to an American citizen, nor any political structure?
The amendment is the 21st. I just want to say that.
Known as Supremacy Clause states that duly ratified treaties like federal statutes and the Constitution itself are part of the supreme law of the land, binding state courts, even when state laws conflict, right? All treaties made or 1945, making US the first major power to join the new organization. So yes, the UN Charter is the quote-unquote law of the land.
So again, you actually misinterpreted literally everything you just read. The UN Charter
find me an authoritative lawyer that says that the UN...
there's a lawyer on fucking stage right now who actually discusses it.
Yeah, Brad's doing a great job, but
the UN can and cannot fucking do. That I'm kind of UN can and cannot fucking do. That I'm kind of confused.
Brad,
the article you just read out of the Constitution, there was a little thing that you think, well, this is the UN is the supreme ruling body. Again, it's even stated in the United States in their agreement of the UN and NATO and everybody else. We do not recognize any world authority. We do not recognize any world court, and we do not recognize any other governing body outside of our own. There are plenty of nations who do that. Russia is one of them. India is one of them. China is one of them. There's a lot of countries that will say we'll participate in the UN, but you do not get to govern us. This idea that the UN has power does not do it.
Talking about, Brad, I'm sorry. UN Charter is not about governing countries. UN Charter. I have no idea what you're talking about, actually. I was just arguing that the UN Charter, right, is a founding member of the United Nations. And according
no, it's not. No, it's not. Oh, come on, man.
Find me
go ahead. I've got co-counsel here.
Lawyer.
Great.
Find me a consensus opinion of United States lawyers that say that the UN Charter is not law of the land. Give me an authoritative consensus opinion on this.
Let me just say something. You show me where in the Constitution.
I'm arguing that
this is why we should just basically bomb these fucking Middle Eastern guys until the turbans fucking disappear and that people can actually live in peace. Like, fuck this Muhammad prophet wanna be.
All right, guys, hold on. Listen, we could do this a couple of ways. One of the ways that I would love to do it is let's do three things, and these are all supported with the rules of the House. Number one, let's stay on topic. Number two, let's keep our shares short. And number four, let's go ahead. Actually, I'm saying them wrong. It's 3, 4, and 5. Stay on topic, keep your shares short, and don't interrupt. If we do those three things, I think we could be good with other rules as well. But let's try to keep those in mind. Shares short, no interruptions, stay on topic. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll restate my position because I think people are hearing something else from what I'm saying. I didn't say that the United States relinquished its land United Nations. All I said that according to the U.S. Constitution, right, Article 6, Clause 2, known as supremacy.
Treaties are part of the supreme law of the land only if they are self-executing, being directly enforceable, or if Congress passes implementing legislation. That was point one. Point two, limits. The Supreme Court has made clear that no treaty, including the UN Charter, can override the Constitution. If there's a conflict, the Constitution wins. That was an important one, so hopefully you drunk that in. Number three, practical effect. Many provisions of the UN Charter are broad statements of principle, not self-executing law. So they don't create enforceable rights or obligations in U.S. courts unless Congress enacts domestic laws to implement them. So those are the facts. If anybody wants to dispute those, happy to have that conversation.
Okay, so I'm not talking about non-self-executing clauses. Non-self-executing clauses like the ICJ, Brad is correct on that, like the International Court of Justice. The United States has a clause on the non-self-executing parts of the UN Charter and other treaties, right? That's why it doesn't automatically accept the jurisdiction of International Court of Justice. So Brad is correct on that, right? But other self-executing parts of the UN Charter, like this previous conversation was right of self-defense, are self-executing, right? That's why when United States ambassador to UN goes to the United Nations, they open their Security Council hearings, reaffirming, right, that they are bound by the UN Charter, right? So, yeah, both of you introduced some nuance in there. I agree with you on the self-execution and non-self-execution. I agree that under the structure of U.S. law, the Constitution is supreme domestic authority. In international law, the Constitution is not necessarily the supreme authority, but anyway, that's not part of this discussion. We can talk about
how do we withhold the funding? How have we been, since we have the right in the United States at our discretion to, if we disagree with something from the UN, to withhold and condition funding to UN entities or any activities that we have policy disagreements. If we had this obligation that was a supreme obligation to uphold everything the UN does, then how have we been able to
don't have that obligation.
We have a specific treaty that enables us to not.
Treaty doesn't say that you have to uphold.
Why
can't you finish her fucking statement?
Wait a minute.
Why can't you finish her fucking statement?
If we're not going to interrupt you, sir, we're going to let Abby speak without interruption too, right? That's equality, huh?
I apologize.
Also, so you understand, we can pick and choose, which we did, and we can choose to be obligated with human rights, but we can also choose to walk away from the UN if we have disagreements with their positions, which, if you remember, under Ambassador Haley, she walked away from several different positions the UN was doing when she was in. Also, we have Congress that is very significant in how we deal with the UN. And Congress can limit or withhold the same funding that I'm talking about if the members of Congress think that the UN, and it had Hamas operatives working for the UN and working in UNRWA, and we saw that, and we withheld funding for UNRWA specifically because the UN was doing something that was fundamentally against the policies of the United States. Also, our president, and our president puts the ambassador in there. I mean, there's so many outs from this. It is not the supreme law of the United States whatsoever.
To pay the dues, the expenses of the organization shall be borne by the members as portioned by the General Assembly. This does not. This is just for the functioning of the UN, right? Functioning of the UN does not include UNICEF, UNDP, UNRWA, and all of those things that the United States has withhold funding, etc. Those things are voluntary. UN Charter has nothing to do with UNRWA, nothing whatsoever.
you're saying the UN, who has under the UN Hamas operatives in the UN. So now all of a sudden the UN doesn't have a connection.
Are we having a legal argument or not? Legally,
no, legally, we don't have a legal obligation to have to comply with what the UN votes on.
Voters. Now, what do you need? If you're saying
they don't matter to the U.S., it does not matter.
Can we have one mic on Emperor, please?
You say create binding legislation, if they so choose to, does not have any authority in international law, and the United States is not like the Security Council resolutions, right? Security Council resolutions create binding law. According to the Charter, it is not false.
Again, if it was so binding, why is Russia still trading oil despite the sanctions? How is North Korea doing it? How about all the fucking thing for terrorists surrounding organizations texting? How about your fucking camel junkie, fucking terrorist bombing fucking self fucking people getting fucking power? It is feckless, spineless, and filled with a bunch of fucking pussies if ever I've met one. Like, it is literally the dumbest organization in the world, because guess what? It contradicts itself, and all the countries don't fucking follow through. Israel doesn't have to follow them, the same way Saudi Arabia has been ruled upon, didn't have to follow them. Fucking Europe doesn't even follow its own fucking edicts when it tries to fucking impose those binding things there. Fuck you, have to bail out your country.
Wait, hold on, guys. Hold on. Everyone, hold on. Listen. Let's get back to the shares short, no interruptions. I don't mind the profanity. We have no rules against it. Call me weird. I kind of like the rants that get animated. I kind of like them. All I would request is that we make sure that we just be a little more succinct.
Good question.
Well, first of all, I want to ask if Brad was complete, and I know the Emperor wanted to respond. Brad, are you complete?
No, we are not binding to this fucking faux organization that does more harm than good. And as someone who's, and I'm sure there's other veterans on this stage who can attest to this, we're well fucking aware of the blue on green fucking attacks from you fucking retards that want to fucking claim UN sanctions and we have an imperialistic thing, because we're aware of our brothers and sisters who've been shot at by cock monkeys like you. And as far as you tallheads fucking preaching about the UN, I don't
space for people that I know are a little less likely to punch their way in. There's some introverts that are on the stage that want to speak. I know this. So let's try to find a space for them. But Emperor, go ahead, followed by Jules. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so nations are in New York. To the point of whether UN Security Council resolutions can create legally binding obligations on every UN member state. The legal basis of it would be Article 25 of the UN Charter. Members.
Again, there's no enforcement ability. What are they going to do?
Happy.
A different topic.
Let me ask you a question, Happy. I don't think that the UN is a treaty. That's where I'm coming from. I was in the tax field. I was an international tax examiner. We had treaties with certain countries. When we had a treaty with a certain country, the treaty took over our laws. We had to abide by the treaty. But that was a treaty with a specific country, not United Nations. Like we had a treaty with the UK, for example, that interest expense would be done under certain formula with the US-UK treaty. Okay? Not under normal circumstances. The interest expense you pay is what you deduct. We have to follow treaty. Now, of course, when there's a treaty, there could be disagreements within the treaty. I mean, we could be fighting and it can go on forever, which is the right way to do something. Now, my question to you, Abby, is the United Nations, I think he's wrong that the United Nations is a treaty. What do you say, Abby?
What I was trying to say before, we entered into a treaty, and it is on certain provisions of the United Nations. There are certain treaties, like, let me give you an example. We entered into the civil, it's a covenant, let me try the initials, the Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, and we're bound to that because we entered into that particular aspect of what the UN treaty was. But still, there's no enforcement ability of the UN. It's an outline. I put this in the chat. Framework for the international community to cooperate, but the UN doesn't create laws at all. I mean,
that's right.
So you have to look at it that way. We have made an agreement with certain aspects of what they do, but we specifically carved out that they don't have supreme power over our legal system. If we want to enter into an international treaty on a specific area, we have, but not generally everything the UN does. It's not how we entered into the United Nations in the beginning. So I think the word treaty is throwing people off as you're seeing it. I don't know.
Right. Well, I would say this, that the UN Charter is a treaty, but the treaty results in how it's organized, and we agreed to the organization of it, but we didn't agree to any kind of supremacy in it.
Again, the treaty also says that, for example, Security Council resolution, right, Article 25, agree to accept and carry out the decisions of the Security Council, right? Now, U.S. has a veto in the Security Council, so it can guard against any action that are aimed against U.S. interests, right? But it doesn't mean that legally Security Council resolutions, if they're worded in a legally binding manner, are not binding on the United States if that resolution came to pass.
Could I ask a simple question? Or maybe try to see, because I understand you all have a in-depth, and I'm trying to learn something. So if I listen to, I've heard the word binding and different things, or not enforced. So if I put it in the perspective of like a speed, like here in America, speed limit. A lot of us break it, but if they pull you over, you can pay a penalty. Is that the treaty and the UN type situation?
No.
What I'm saying
no.
That if you break it, nothing's going to happen to you, right?
This is like you jaywalking in fucking France. That's the extent of it. It's akin to that. Maybe you get punished, but I doubt it because it's fucking Paris. And let's be honest, it's the French. No one expects much out of the French. So overall, like, again, it's irrelevant. They have no say. It's like, so here, take this. I will say this. England is full of pussy wanked fucking bitches. That they are feckless, they're colonizers, they're horrible people. They don't, like, I think we should have, like, continued and invaded England again after the Revolutionary War and the War of 1812. I think we should have conquered England. I think many nations should conquer England and make them slaves for 1,000 years. And I hate England. I think the Queen is better off buried in the ground, and thank God Lizzie's in a box, along with Princess Diana. I hate all of that. So now, according to English law, I can be prosecuted because it's hate speech against the crown. It's hate speech against the government. It's hate speech against the country. They have laws against me targeting their own people. You know what? Good fucking luck, England. Come try it, because the United States will not tolerate you trying to enforce your crime laws in our own land. We are not responsible to the United Nations or any other nation. And secondly, we carry the biggest stick. We have the biggest weapons. We have the best weapons. We have the better fucking everything around. So again, the rest of the world is kind of like, oh, we wish you wouldn't do it. And the UN does not have any legal bindings or power over anybody in the United States without going through the president and our own Congress. And Congress and the president are really strict about that shit. So are the courts. So they don't let the
real quick, could I ask Emperor?
On this?
That's what I was about to ask Abby. I think Brent's here.
Bren, why don't you co-counsel this with me? I got to get dressed for something. Bren.
Yeah, I mean, was there a specific question? I've been listening.
Yes, he's been citing the supremacy clause, claiming that because the treaties were the treaties were passed by the Senate, that it becomes the supreme law of our land, and it binds American citizens, and it binds us.
Didn't say citizens.
Yeah,
and we were explaining that when the UN was founded and what treaties we have with the UN, it's not, we haven't accepted.
Specifically been talking about the UN Charter only.
Right. And we're saying we're not subject to the full UN Charter.
Yeah, so when the UN was founded, right, you have the UN Charter that was drafted. Every single member state that currently exists inside of the United Nations, whether you have, you're one of the five with the permanent veto power on the Security Council, or you're any of the lesser member states, you have agreed upon your membership or your entry, right, to the ratification process. And that process says that you are going to abide by in entirety the UN Charter as it is when you join. So one of the things that's there is that the United States, the UK, China, Russia, essentially the founding member states, they agreed to the charter in entirety as it was drafted. Any amendment to that along the way, there's a perceived agreement and a perceived obligation of duty, but there really isn't an enforceable obligation. So as they have made adjustments to the basic UN Charter and the standard rules and provisions operating, if you're one of the original nations, you're only bound by the original rules. Now, when it comes to different decisions that the UN passes, right, the General Assembly passing a resolution means absolutely nothing for enforcement. It has no enforcement action, right? That resolution can then be pushed to the Security Council, and the Security Council is the enforcement end of the UN, right, which is the permanent members, including the US, including Russia, including China, including the UK, including France, that have veto power, right? Everybody else is not a permanent member in the way of standing. And so if a measure is passed in the General Assembly, it's a recommendation at best, right? It's an advisory of the meets on these things. And if a permanent member vetoes it, nobody's bound by that lower decision because it is not considered passed. So if we veto it, if Russia vetoes it, if China vetoes it, it is not a passed measure, and therefore it's not binding on anybody.
And the question isn't about binding. The question is, does it supersede U.S. law?
Well, there's a difference between U.S. law and international law, right? The U.S. is an entity, it's a sovereign nation state that has agreed to certain things. If the U.S. agrees to abide by an international standard, that doesn't make that a U.S. law, right? That means that the entity of the United States has said, sure, we are willing to abide by that. That doesn't change the laws on the books in the United States. And so
that's not my question. That's not my question.
That's what you just asked. So perhaps you would do better at wording it more specifically.
No, all right.
Literally what you just said.
Does it supersede U.S. law? For example,
here's the thing. I assumed you would be able to pull that answer out of what I just said to you, right? If they are not, if the United States is not bound by something, right? So if the United States says, hey, this is a General Assembly ruling, we are not going to veto it, it's now a Security Council ruling, this is now international law and expectations, right? That does nothing on affecting the United States internal legal system. So there is nothing to say that supersedes anything, right? They're two different things. It's like two cars parked in the same garage. The United States has its international obligations as it agrees to abide by them. Then it has its own ruling structure for inside of its own domestic border. Those are not the same thing. It's two handbooks, right? It's like having one set of rules for your house and one for your lake house. You may be involved in both of them, you may use both of them, but the rules are different. And so it depends on what are you talking about superseding? Because you're using two different sets of rules for two different implications. Inside of the United States, inside of its domestic sovereign territory, the U.S. is bound by its own rules. Engaging outside of its own territory, it's bound by international regulation that it's agreed to. Those are two very different things.
I think the Constitution was part of it, though. It mentioned the Constitution. It impacts the U.S. Constitution from my perspective.
Wait, Gary, can you allow Abby to respond to Brent?
He was trying to make the legal argument that via the supremacy clause, because a treaty is ratified, that becomes the supreme law of our land, and it binds us and our actions through the supremacy clause. So
the domain of international jurisdictions.
Yeah, no, that's
it doesn't work.
Not at all. The U.S. Supreme Court has never issued a ruling. It's not been read that way in any way, shape, or form. Our laws do not change because of agreements we have made on the global stage. Our guidelines do not change because of those agreements.
You don't understand our
Can I get a word in?
Can I respond to complaints?
Can we have one mic?
Brent.
I'd like to get a word in when I can.
Why don't the guy who makes the argument, what's your name? Why doesn't he respond to Brent?
It's Emperor. Brent, real quick for clarification, Brent, what is your title? Like, what is your job title, Brent?
So here's the thing, and most of this room knows. No, hold on.
We have one mic.
I'm okay with answering this. I'm okay with it. I sit on a federal bench within the United States federal judiciary. I'm not getting more specific than that due to doctrine.
That's all we were looking for, Brent. Thank you.
Okay, I know Anson was trying to get in. Anson, or did Emperor have some rebuttal? Because Anson wants to get in the queue. Anson, Emperor, did you need to say anything?
Yeah,
thank you.
Not really rebuttals. I'm in full agreement with Brent. I have never said that UN Charter governs domestic law. I have said that according to the U.S. Constitution, under the Supreme, here's the wording: all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land. Now, that doesn't mean that overrules the domestic issues of the United States. UN Charter governs international relations, only the stuff that goes through Security Council, although that includes too, as Brent has discussed, right? Stuff like a prohibition of the crime of aggression, of attacking another state outside of self-defense, right? So yeah, those are obligations on the United States.
The Iraq War proves that we don't need it because the UN was against it, and the U.S. said, fuck it, we're going to invade it, and we went through in 2003. So again, you finish talking, and you can't, and you want everybody to do this one mic thing, but you can't shut your own fucking pie hole. So again, that whole level of respect.
Do you need a hard?
I know. I think you just need to shut up.
Okay, we're going to move on to Anson. Anson would like to speak. We're just going to move on to Anson. Go ahead, Anson.
Wow. I looked at the poll, and I wonder, based on the results of the poll above, the quality of K-12 education. And then I think about the quality of discussion on Clubhouse. And I again say, wow, I'm complete.
Okay, so did Brad want to go? Did Brad have anything to say? Okay, go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, I didn't see the poll up there. I'm actually shocked, but okay, go ahead. Yeah, I don't really care that people can add anymore. I think a lot of people's points are just dumb. The supremacy clause in the United States, like the number of times that the U.S. has ignored the U.S. 2003, we invaded fucking Iraq, did we not? I recall that. 2001, we went ahead and went full tilt and did Afghanistan, despite the fact that the UN asked for a calm, measured approach and a consultation against all the U.S. actions. We didn't give a flying fuck. And the U.S. tried to pass binding resolutions that we wouldn't invade them. We like the number of times the UN wanted to bind and tie up Israel, and the U.S. said, well, fuck you, go ahead, try it. We still sent weapons over there. We still sent financial aid, despite them wanting to condemn and hold court and put Bibi Netanyahu in jail and hold him as a war criminal. I mean, holy shit. The withdrawal from the Paris Agreement. The UN wanted that binding. Trump pulled that out. So guess what? We didn't suffer any consequences. Again, there's no enforcement. The UN is a paper tiger. I don't care if it's located in New York City. You could put it in Beijing for a like there. It's not going to fucking matter. The U.S. decides what it's going to do, when it's going to do it, and how it's going to do it.
William, can you mic up, William, please? What mic up?
Wow, okay. So again, we are not bound to anything with the UN, and at any point in time, we will and have.
Constructive funds and like CC that under which you mentioned Israel, etc., is very little to do with UN. They have some reporting requirement to UN. That's the extent that they have to do with UN. That's like a different body. You have some meme of the United Nations, right? We're talking about specific things. That's up.
Oh, hey, can I get in the queue?
Yeah, hold on. I think Abby wants to respond. Abby, did you want to respond to him, Bruce?
No, let other people. It's all right. I was just going to get philosophical with him about law, but let other people talk.
Go ahead, Rich.
Oh, Anson, I was just going to ask for clarification. You do realize it's 238 times 1,000, right? I was just checking.
Well, with my background in physics and STEM stuff and teaching in school, I think I have a pretty good idea what the answer is. It's a very simple answer. Look at my comment in the chat, and I'll leave it at that.
Hold on, I just want to really quickly say, I normally don't do this, but Doc of the Apocalypse, welcome to the month. Please join the house. I see you down there, sir. It's always a pleasure to see you pop in these rooms. I think you might like this room, Doc. So if you're so inclined, if you enjoy the conversation, please join them up. Okay. Next speaker, thank you.
I want to say, Anson, your answer is wrong. I don't care what physics you know. I do appreciate your service. If you did serve and you're a captain, my grandfather was retired as a lieutenant colonel in the Korean War and flew the Sabre. So, 132 successful missions.
Yeah, Sean, the reason I was asking that question was,
It's a crazy answer. Not
Sean,
2.3 million.
Yeah, Sean, the reason I was asking the question is because we always hear boomers that'll be like, oh, these young kids, they don't know anything. They're uneducated and they don't know math and they don't know how to read. But then they go and ask like boomers, like, when was the Declaration of Independence signed? And they go, 1865? And it's like, Anson answers 2.3 million, when it's clearly 238 times 1,000. It's 238,000.
This is why Nancy Pelosi and older people should actually this is why we should have term limits.
It'll go completely off, Sean, but
I figure it was a vision issue. Maybe
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
All your doctor. Okay, Anson would like to respond. I keep saying, gentlemen, please, one mic. Anson would like to respond. Anson, go ahead. If not, we'll just give it back to Brad.
Basic math. 238,000. 238 times 10 to the third is equal to 238,000. Frigging arithmetic.
Anson, you answered 2.3 million. Anson, you answered 2.3 million.
I said 238,000 times 10 to the third is 238 times 10 to that. All right.
That's why I was asking. Maybe you didn't see the comma or something. I thought you thought that it was 238,000 or 238 times 10,000. That's why I was like, like he's calling us all dumb, but we all answered 238,000. But Anson answered 2,380,000. That's why we're asking.
United States is not dumb.
That's because I'm a dumb old man.
No, I figured it was maybe you need your glasses. That's all.
I can't believe that the stage is erupted in chaos because he picked the wrong number in the poll. But okay, gentlemen.
Nobody's selected 23,800. Just want to put that out.
talk. A lot of you, I would trust Captain Anson, who's actually an answer. Leave the man alone.
Thank you. That part, leave the man alone. Jesus Christ, like for real. Y'all can't be serious right now.
Well, I'm just saying, let's put him back in his hubs. He's going to hit the damn wrong country with those numbers. Period.
Remember when you were looking
at Nye and Brad, you don't have to protect me. I can stand strong.
Serving for us, and appreciate you wholeheartedly. I mean it. Thank you.
And I was just busting your chop dance, and that's
mean it. Thank you.
And I was just busting your chop dance, and that's all. You're a sailor. You should know that.
Well, I think that's all. I mean, it's all very humorous, and I will come back to that. But I do think that the controversy between Abbey and Emperor is really, it raises a hard question here, right? To what degree is unenforceable law the law of the land, and to what degree do we expect people to respect it? I mean, people get away with crimes. That's true. So just somebody getting away with a crime doesn't mean the law is not the law, or it doesn't. There are, though, laws which, broadly speaking, are not enforced. And I think Brad is right to bring that up. It's like if we say, in Texas, the speed limit, it says it's 70. But I tell you what, I get on the freeway and it's 90 basically all the way to wherever I'm going. So I don't know we can really say that it's against the law to go 90 in the state. I mean, practically speaking, if you do it, nothing's going to happen to you. If somebody else does it, nothing's going to happen to them. So you kind of got to accept that it's something ordinary people do. And okay, I'll be really honest with you. If you hit other cars with your car, well, that's not like speeding, and that's
what I'm kind of gaining is that it says membership, and I got a membership to a gym. I'm not forced to go. I should probably go more often, all that, but it's a membership. And if I don't go, there's nothing going to happen. But as you said, with the speed limit, even though everybody may be going 90, if I get popped because I'm in a red car, sports car, and they decide to pull me over, there's a penalty to pay. So I'm kind of looking at it like, yeah.
There are obligations that we have as a nation when we enter into a treaty, and they're enforceable. And what he was trying to say, I think if I understand his argument, is under the Supremacy Clause, if something was ratified by the Senate, a treaty, then in fact we're bound by it. So which is true as a nation, we're bound by a treaty and the ramifications if we breach the treaty. But the UN doesn't have enforcement on us. And we were very careful as well as our executive with respect to foreign policy that can reverse those obligations and can change the course in our foreign policy. So I'm still trying to understand where he's trying to go with this, because it's fluid and we are not obligated to the whole UN charter and all that it is advisory form. It is not the
law is a thing at all. Law is a thing at all.
That's a whole other question, Daniel. I think we've talked about that in rooms, whether it is, and what's in that's specific, and there's enforcement as a result of it. They can enforce a penalty, whether it's a civil or a criminal one.
Sure. I found at some point, Daniel, it was like all offered to me, right? Can I talk? So, Abby, like only voluntarily accepted obligations enumerated under the UN Charter, right? Specifically self-executing conditioned ICJ, International Court of Justice, jurisdiction. So I would agree with you there. But this whole conversation started, right, because some other guy was on the stage arguing that even United States, by striking Iran, violated Constitution. And I said, right, that the stuff that binds the United States is not only the Constitution and War Powers Act, which I don't think, well, I mean, there are disagreements, by a self-executing clause of the UN Charter, specifically Article 2, which limits countries, right? It prohibits crime of aggression. So attacking another country is only legal under the UN Charter, which again, the United States has accepted this condition, is only legal under the self-defense clause. And that self-defense clause is further restricted. Countries disagree on the interpretation of the self-defense clause. The consensus opinion in international law is that anticipatory self-defense, like the one that the United States argues in attacking Iran, is not a thing. The United States disagrees. I was only going to say that majority opinion in international law is that anticipatory self-defense is not a thing, because we don't want to do stuff like Russia does in Ukraine, because it also argued anticipatory self-defense when it launched the war against Ukraine, right? We don't want stuff like Hitler did with invasion of Poland, because Hitler also argued anticipatory self-defense, right? So for a good reason of force. So it's valid to criticize that the United States is breaking the UN Charter, its own voluntary obligation, specifically Article 2, when it attacked the Iran. This is
well, but then you have to define emperor. So I don't get too legal with you, but you'd have to define your terms, and you'd have to define what a threat is. You'd have to define what war is. You'd have to define what's a valid threat. Certain intelligence that leads you, and that's what I was trying to argue with him. That once the intel came back that it was threshold capacity, and the period of time before there was full proliferation was enough to feel the threat. What's interesting, by the way, in the last 48 hours, I read that they just discovered weapons, chemical weapons being shipped, was either from the Houthis to Hezbollah or vice versa, and under the control of Iran. So the threats were not just nuclear, and there was a lot of, I think there's the question is there enough intel for a nation to feel that they can invoke that right of self-defense?
Well, those things are going to...
And we can look at the 6-Day War as an example of it with Israel. Okay.
I mean, there are valid disagreements on this. What I offered you is...
Yes, no, I know them, but I stick by, when you say it's and you say it very eloquently, but all of those terms, all of those provisions that have to be the standard to meet in order to invoke the self-defense, all of those can be broken apart as to what justifies a threat. And what we could determine in our nation is a threat may be different than it's viewed in another nation.
Well, that's
right?
Okay, sure. And for you, that might be satisfactory, right? But we're talking about international law. Those terms, as they're written, are interpreted by different lawyers differently. That's why I said consensus opinion in international law. Again, because we don't have a supreme authority, because, again, ICJ was supposed to be supreme authority, but the United States does not accept the jurisdiction of ICJ, or rather conditions the jurisdiction of ICJ. So we don't have a supreme authority of international law, and countries determine whether other countries' actions are legal or illegal for themselves, right?
But do you
we
think
don't have
we
a
should?
monarch.
So let me ask you, do you think we should? Do you think one country that has certain morals and principles to be bound by another country's law? I mean, I guess it's a very philosophical question, but do you think there should be one supreme world law?
No. I think, I don't want to go that far, but I think if we're criticizing Russia attack of Ukraine as illegal, right, then it opens the question of the standard, right? Because Russia also argues anticipatory self-defense, right? They were saying that Ukrainians are genociding Russian population or about to genocide Russian-speaking population. That's why they attacked. That's their anticipatory self-defense claim. I, along with the rest of the international community, reject the notions of anticipatory self-defense unless in extremely dire circumstances, which means immediate threat. And by immediate, and this is consensus opinion. Immediate threat is attack. Attack is about to launch now, not in a week, not in a month, not in some later date, but that's a
I mean, what's an imminent threat? can an imminent threat be the proliferation of a nuclear weapon and the capability to deliver it? So is that enough of an imminent threat? And also having your ships attacked by proxies and your troops attacked by proxies? You tell me, what's an imminent threat?
Again.
Sorry, I'm going to have to, someone else is going to have to jump in, and I got to go to dinner. But
Please will somebody else jump in.
Sorry, and if it's disturbing you.
I mean, this is like a particularly detailed issue, which we're not gonna. Then it's not coming down to what is an imminent threat, right? But I think the broader concern here is the people who trust in international law trust too much, basically, and need to get real. And that's mostly Europe, to be totally honest, at this point.
I'm not European, I'm not American. I agree with you, but from other, the rules are imperfect, the institutions are imperfect, the laws are not necessarily perfect, right? And maybe they, as you have said, can cash the check, right? They are too ambitious maybe, but that doesn't mean they normatively shouldn't be held to some, aspiration. So that would be my. I also think we leave off a really important part of this discussion, which is the cultural effect. There's a lot that happens between not just the UN, but all these other organizations on a global stage that have things that occur outside the nation state that are beneficial to life. You would not want to have a world without it. You can improve it. You can take whatever's not cashing the check, as the Emperor was just saying. But you're definitely a better off world with it than without it. And let's be clear, Jason, just to put it in context, there is a field of law called international law that goes beyond the United Nations itself. And, there is standing that occurs from one nation's laws that propagate to another as well. I mean, is the judge still here to validate this? How we can validate it? There are precedents that end up, getting propagated from one country to another all the time. I mean, just it recently happened, with a group of old ladies in Switzerland that were able to successfully prosecute a lawsuit against their own government, the climate law, and it got used as precedent immediately in 4 or 5 other countries.
All right. Are we ready for a new topic, ladies and gentlemen, or do we want to continue with the routine?
I mean, look, let's try to be constructive. I would be happy to talk about something else. What are you doing? What are you doing over the weekend?
The conversation.
You're cutting in and out. You're cutting in and out. But yeah, what are you guys doing over the weekend? Let's talk about that.
Nai, can you tell us about your room tomorrow afternoon in Access Hollywood?
Oh, wow. Yeah, tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central. I have a house here for those who like it.
It's amazing.
Can you hear me, Charlotte? Am I coming through all right? Okay, cool. Yeah, I have a house on here. It is certainly not as thrilling and exciting as being in the muck, but we do talk about conspiracy.
No. They were arguing and fighting. Russia was fighting.
But that's why everybody came in, by the way. That's why all those other folks came in. Because they all want to, sort this out. You know what I mean?
I was asking Brent about how much trouble Candace Owens is in. And choose the pooch comes to mind as one of the things that, where did that come from? Is that accurate? Shoot the pooch?
I'm not heard.
Meaning she's in really big trouble? Where did I get that from?
It's Shanley through the food time.
All right, I'll stand corrected.
Yeah, it's the first time I've heard that expression. It'll be interesting if she wins her lawsuit. I mean, if she wins, if she wins the case, if the Macrones lose. But anyway, Monica, you suggested perhaps a topic change. If there's no topic change, the mic is open. If anybody wants to grab the mic, if they have any thoughts.
Happens sometimes because, I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't hear you. I'm traveling in a different area. Go ahead.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. I thought you weren't speaking. I didn't hear you. My bad.
Did you guys leave the Trump and Putin topic? Have you gone past that now from the original title?
We can circle back.
Yeah, no, if you want to, go ahead, Daniel.
What the fuck was that? I mean, what exactly was that? Can anybody tell me?
It was a big nothing burger. I saw a quote on TV today that Trump said, the quote was, there's no deal until there's a deal.
Of it, where it was, symbolism of it, any of that? Anybody talk about that?
I don't know. Scarlett, were you here?
They only talk to half the party. So they have to wait for Zelensky and Ukraine to...
Well, if there is a deal, if it ends up being a deal, that will be good. There's something that was done in the fact that Putin was on the stage toe-to-toe with Trump, not with Zelensky, because it makes Zelensky, to me, is a split screen on how he had his meeting with Zelensky in the White House, where they never even, had lunch kind of thing. And everybody can say it's no big deal. They're just a couple minutes together, and it's nice that they're being friendly and so on. That's a significant protocol. It's not a norm. Let's at least give the best benefit of that you could give to it. And, when the entire event is over, they were supposed to have a meal together and didn't. That's a mystery. And secondly, Putin spoke first. And Trump said that he would not, Trump said that there would not have been a war if he had been president, and he said he agreed with that. He looked straight at the camera and said that. So everybody who loves Trump and believes that there would not have been a war if he had been...
Can you bring up Al Carabino?
I don't know why you're interrupting me.
What you're saying isn't that important.
Isn't what?
Well, let Daniel finish his thought, and then Jim will make it straight.
I was just giving my take. You can pick apart anything you want. But thank you, Monica. Anyway, this to me is that there's no sense of creating any peace in the world without all three of them. And there's absolutely no peace possible unless they have more land. And I can't see how they're going to pull that off. I can't see that being pulled off by a JFK, never mind a Donald Trump. I don't know how they're going to do it.
Thank you, Daniel. Al, did you want to say something, Al?
Oh, I just wanted to make sure my friend Al Carabino. Well, I said my piece. I appreciate the space. Thank you for hearing me out.
Somebody in the chat said that you are a troll, basically, and a loser, and that you hate Jewish people.
Oh my Lord! The blasphemy and the libel and the slander.
El Normo? Wait, El Normo's Jewish.
Well, Normal's more than Jewish. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. How can no one be more than Jewish?
Can you repeat that question?
Maybe by being an ultra-Zionist, I guess.
What was the question, Monica?
Because El Normo's like a super Zionist.
Actually, it is.
I wear it proud.
Wait a minute. Why does he sound like El Normo though?
Because that is El Normo.
Normo, why are you Lord?
I'm not trolling. Why do you think I'm trolling? Zionism is inherent to Judaism, and anyone that doesn't agree is either a self-hating Jew or an anti-Semite.
Wait, so Monica, is this Normo for real? Because
It is him.
Wow.
Okay, so this is not disrespectful, but it sounds like normal with extra Jew. I'm sorry, it just does.
Well, multiculturalism for thee, but not for me.
That's funny. I take that as a great compliment. Thank you, Scarlett. You are a character, Norm.
Wow, this is craziness. This is craziness. Okay, popcorn style. Who wants to go next? Oh,
I think El Carabino has something to say.
Okay, go ahead, El Carabino.
Yeah, I just think driving while I'm black, I went at war from the NAACP. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
In Israel.
No, not in Israel.
Why not?
Because it can't be a Jewish state unless it's 70% Jewish. You know that. You're just trolling. You're just trying to get under my skin.
You know, Ann Coulter made the comment.
Hypocritical, no?
So
No.
Ann Coulter, I'm gonna ask Al or whoever was talking to take tell lady. And I watched Ann Coulter's interview with, and everybody said that's right because a Muslim in Israel would not meet the needs of the country or its citizens. And I thought that was an interesting observation.
Exactly. Why would we want that? That would really take away our ethno state. And it's obvious. I support Ann Coulter, whatever her name is. Yeah, she's a wise woman. She knows what she's talking about. And we need to stay 70% at least, and keep the Prime Minister, the Minister of Internal Security, the Minister of Finance.
Ramaswamy stand about not wanting a first generation Indian American as the President of the United States. So it was a really good interview. I quite enjoyed it. One of the bit. And I'm like, yeah, that's hyperbole in chief. Because Trump asked.
Can't do that. That's not just exaggeration to me.
Daniel, I understand that you're frustrated and distrustful, and you believe that he is taking America down the wrong path. I understand that. Welcome, Tom, to the state.
You don't understand what I'm thinking about it, or what I'm actually thinking, or frustrated, or anything in what you just summarized. I don't think he's taking down any stand.
I agree with you that Trump is really not a very great politician. Would you agree with me that at least most of the country thinks that the candidate the Democrats proposed was demonstrably worse?
Yeah, at the time that they took the vote, for sure. And then if we would go by that fact, which is a fact that I would absolutely agree with you on, we'd also look at the facts of where it is now too, and what the numbers show right now, right?
Like, no, I'm serious. What did the numbers show?
I think he's got a 38 or 39% approval rating. He's got something over 65% of Republicans think that he's holding something back on and had a lot to do with, the whole Epstein thing. They're very worried about prices now rising. And that's amongst, even his own base. But even if you didn't include his base, he couldn't possibly have won what he won without having, especially in the next election, let's say. Right?
So his numbers are so low.
That's why I wouldn't be happy. Almost
like I said that 5 minutes ago, sir. I said you're not happy with the direction he's taking us in. A little inconsistent.
Let me clarify my own communication so we don't do it like a prosecutor. Let me just clarify. By virtue of making no decision at all, I'm doing more dividing than unifying.
How do you know?
Can I comment? This is
meeting with Putin, and then after you reply, hand them mic to do double, please.
Sure. Generally, there are norms in making international meetings happen like this, particularly amongst adversaries, which up to now Russia has been politically historic. They're simply signing what they've all worked out ahead of time. Now, you could say, oh, it's just his negotiation style, if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt. to go in and try to work out himself with Putin instead of going through the underlings and so on and so forth. But if that was the case, then he needs to really come out with something like that. We'll see if he does. Maybe he pulls a rabbit out of
So
the hat.
Daniel, since you're such a big supporter of the Now and the Democrats, they seem to be running somebody who is Muslim for a high office. Now, what is it about killing infidels that you think is inspiring? Can you just explain that to me?
But hold on, Benjamin. I did promise Double that he could have a
That's right.
of
We
mine.
should hear from Double, but I'll
And
wait.
I know,
for my
Benjamin,
answer.
you've been very patient because you did speak earlier, and I don't know if your comment was addressed. So, Double, the mic is yours.
Hey, before you go, can I just say, man, I am so impressed with the results of the poll, man. Got some smart people in this room. I love it.
Okay, yeah. I just want to say this is like the second day. This is like 2 days later. Daniel still has full-blown TDS. And the other day recommended he needed treatment. Today we see it again. He's saying, we hear him having cognitive dissonance. He's contradicting himself. He has all this negotiation going on with even just keeping his story straight. And he's obsessed with Donald Trump and supposed incompetence, but really it's just that I think at the root level, he doesn't like, the person who's in power. He hoped that his preferred candidate, Vice President Harris, had won the election, and he's still in that, negotiation phase of
prepared. It's because I know my shit and I don't have to prepare, and I have the upper hand, and I know it.
I guess time will tell if you're right.
And how do you negotiate and sign a deal when there's only two people at the table?
Well, that's the point. That's why Putin, I understood, said a deal has been made, and then I think Trump replied with, "There's no deal until it's signed." So there's a little inconsistency, but we'll see. Zelensky is not in a position of power. I don't know why people think he's got anything.
Do you know any Ukrainians yourself or have any in this room before? Guarantee they'll fight to the last person.
And what does a security guarantee look like?
That's going to be a very big problem to answer, but that is the $64,000 question, because what they've put themselves all into a bind is that the only way they can have a security guarantee is effectively as good as NATO, maybe not call it NATO, that basically says that if Russia were ever to attack again, there's literally an international force that would have to stop him, because the case that the other side is making, and the Europeans are making as well, is that Putin's word cannot be trusted. We talked here earlier about international agreements and all that stuff. Basically, when you have a reputation as he has.
Daniel.
Let me finish.
He thinks it's a university lecture.
No, thank you. Putin can't be trusted, so she asked what an international guarantee is. There's going to have to be a guarantee that they can't be invaded again. They can't take Russia's word for it. They can't take Russia's word for it.
Okay, so here's the interesting thing. When they were disarmed, they were issued a security guarantee by the UK, by the US, and by Russia. So one of them invaded them, and the other two have not stepped up to stop it.
Yeah. So they have to have a better. They have to have a better one.
Well, so here's the point. You're saying that that they would stop if they get a security guarantee, but they had a security. Okay, got it. All right. I'll just move on. I suppose if you would.
Yeah, they're too small. NATO is not small. That's exactly what he's afraid of. That's exactly what he respects, and the only thing he's worried about is NATO.
Okay. All right.
And you think he's going to sign a deal which basically gives the Ukraine de facto NATO?
As I said, I don't know what the source is. They have a security guarantee union. There's no doubt about that.
So okay. So he failed in Chechnya. What happened in Georgia? What happened in that city in Moldova? It's like
I'm not saying.
Did he stop there?
Did he stop in Georgia? Are there two independent states in Georgia, one on each side of the Caucasus Mountains, and they just exist, and they're basically Russian provinces? They have a flag there. They consider themselves Russia. Does he constitute anything other than those two regions? What about the city in Moldova, which is basically a Russian enclave?
I would absolutely see that. I also don't think that people speaking a language and having a culture on a sovereign borderline become your
region who have wanted to leave Ukraine and be a part of Russia since before 2014, before he took Crimea. Do you think these people want to be a part of Russia, or is it just Putin coming and saying you're Russian and we're going to force you into it? Which is the pacification?
Well, I look at it this way. If you are absolutely,
where have you been? Where were you in 2014?
Sorry. You're saying, okay, in 2014 they were invaded. They did not have the population declare themselves wanting to be Russian.
Trying to get in a while, Steve. Always a pleasure. If we can move them.
I do have taxes that I pay through institutions that I manage or own, and very embedded in American society. I understand.
Yeah, inflation's been out of control in Canada, totally unaffordable.
I'm sad to hear that.
Our economy's in free fall.
What do you think Canadians think that's due to?
The rebalancing. The rebalancing of the tariff.
So it is amazing, to the point of themselves having TDS despite, Trump not being a politician in Canada. He's not ruined the country for 10 years. They're continuing because they had
the
such
joke about
a strong
the 51st state might have been poorly timed.
I agree.
Okay, if you agree, then you have an explanation for what took place, and you know that people didn't want to keep the Liberals in power. They actually did perceive that this foreign actor was actually threatening America. Threatening Canada.
Foreign?
They're going to bind together. All Canadians came together against Donald Trump.
They came together to collectively, commit sort of economic and political suicide.
We'll see.
Congratulations.
Political suicide.
We'll see.
Congratulations.
I am kind of curious about this tariffs business, because you kind of accused maybe Donald Trump of attacking Canada by raising tariffs.
I think to clarify, he's attacking the world, not Canada. Canada's having.
Oh, okay, great. But just to be clear, it's the tariffs, right? The tariffs are the attack.
Yeah, it's a form of warfare.
Do you remember how high those tariffs were that he was threatening? Already implemented 298% tariffs on U.S.
Show receipts to that, Benjamin. Show receipts to that. Nobody's ever.
Okay. Sure. No, I'll do that for sure. That's a promise, there. I'll get to it, very soon. Do you feel that Canada might have been launching some kind of warfare against the United States with a 298% butter tariff?
Well, first of all,
yes or no for you, Daniel. That's a yes or no. Just tariff?
Well, first of all,
yes or no for you, Daniel. That's a yes or no. Just to make this real.
No, I'm not going to say yes or no on.
No. If I prove it, would you accept that it was warfare by Canada on the United States before Donald Trump was even elected? In that case, would you?
It's possible. I want to look at the context of it.
Okay.
Yeah, look.
Hold my beer.
I said to you that tariffs are warfare. All nations can engage in it and try to do the best.
Ladies and gentlemen, change the title of the room. Daniel gets owned big time.
Wait, was that?
That's what you paid for it. That's what you feel.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen in 2 minutes.
Okay.
That's how long it's going to take me to Google this shit. And then we'll be in the chat, and then I'll come off mic and say, please look at the chat. 2 minutes.
Sure.
Somebody got some Jeopardy music?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Well, I'd like to know the security guarantee, and we exclude
the United States, out of NATO, providing this, what military superpower is there within NATO? You go to Canada's, to Daniel's home country, they got a standing army of 70,000 men. Britain has about the same thing. And you're really going to threaten the Soviet Union with security with a 70,000 man army? The German army is...
You would propose that the United States no longer be part of NATO then, Steve?
No, you was, the conversation was that the United States and Great Britain are unreliable because they shirked on it before, and your comeback was that NATO was going to supply the security guarantee. And my question is,
I think I politely said that it was going to be difficult under all circumstances, but if it was ever going to be provided by anybody, there couldn't be anybody else but NATO, because it can't depend on any one country to stop him. It's going to have to take the entire world to stop him.
Oh, okay. Well, I got the impression that you felt with the United States in it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know where
you
could say feckless about the United States. My question then became legitimately, whatever your opinion is.
It's not what I'm saying, Daniel.
It's not your position that if the United States is part of NATO, it seems like an A-B switch to me, that if the United States is part of NATO and it is strong enough to actually not involve military force, if you allow one country on Earth to do that, you allow every country on Earth to do that. I don't think you want to live in a world like that.
Well, yeah. So you're the one that switched positions here, because initially the United States, by the conversation, had been taken out of this equation. And the question, NATO shouldn't even have to be a player in this. The Europeans, if they hadn't summarily disbanded their own military, capable of fielding a quality army, the French...
Do you think the Germans by themselves could stop Putin is what you're proposing?
No, you're missing what I'm saying. This is a European backyard. And if you had the Germans, you had the French aggression.
I absolutely agree with you. And if you and I agree with that, then what minimum type of strength to prevent aggression going forward? The world unites to stop the aggressor, period. It's black and white to me.
Well, I think one of the problems we had in Ukraine was started in 1989 when we said we were always considered strategic in their military defense of the homeland. Because once you get through that passage, you're basically in. Kept telling people about this. They told people about it in the 90s. They warned them about it, that this was creating a problem, and no one wanted to listen. Then we started sending the NGOs into Ukraine, trying to influence the election, trying to start talking about NATO, join NATO. These are all things that's ingenuous. There's a thing called the Color Revolution. You might want to look it up and see what it says about it. And we had NGOs in Ukraine.
You found soft lumber also falls in this category that you didn't put up dairy. Those are long-standing, absolutely big conflicts. Those huge relationships. If you can find me two countries in human history that have had a better trade relationship for longer than Canada and the United States have had, I will pay you.
So now, just to be clear, now you're saying 298% tariff is not, is consistent with the best trade relationship in history, whereas like wasn't it just, remind me folks, wasn't it just 3 minutes ago that 30% tariffs were tantamount to an act of 3 minutes, and we converted, we talked Daniel off the ledge in 3 minutes. He went from thinking 30% tariffs were tantamount to war to thinking 298% tariffs are consistent with the best trade relationship in the history. Everybody, put your hands together for Daniel Madelon. You are amazing, sir. You are amazing.
Thank you so much. 51st state, and coming in with the swath of, because there's a supposed trade imbalance, they've had their conflicts that they
nephews and nieces, and my own kids. I've tried to educate all of them, and my own kids. I've tried to educate all of them. But Daniel, in 50 years of educating people, I set the bar so high for my future educational.
There it is. Yeah.
serendipitous moments. I may never even try to marry somebody. Thank you. Thank you so much.
What's in that beer you're drinking? Is that like domestic or imported?
Yeah,
Magical powers. It's like a Molson, a Hucha? What are you drinking?
Glad to entertain.
You spam waving at her.
So Curtis said he stopped.
Meet this security force that you're talking about, or do you think he'll stop just like he did in Moldova and in Georgia? Bueller?
Yeah, I got a question for Daniel when we get a second. Well, hey, Benjamin, how come you haven't responded to the poll above? You know what? I did respond to the poll. Oh, did you change the poll?
He changed the poll.
Oh, sorry. Give me a second.
Well,
And Daniel is winning.
I wasn't here, but I'm following Daniel and not following Benjamin. So, like, are you new?
Lizard people. I am new, yeah. I just got to Clubhouse.
I think she meant it.
So, this is a question for Daniel. Just because Daniel's like really beating the drum here for the Democratic Party.
And hold on a sec, Benjamin, before you ask. Can one person on this app right now confirm that I've promoted anything about the Democratic Party tonight? Anything I've said?
Islamo-Democratic Party.
Okay, but only you so far. All transparency. I met Mr. Trump before he was a politician. I have my own experience with him. I've told anybody that's ever asked me about him, I am not unbiased. I don't have Trump derangement syndrome. I have Trump traumatic syndrome. I was traumatized by him with 5,000 other people.
I'm not a Trump supporter, but I am a no way Kamala supporter, whatever that is.
Whatever that is.
So I just would find is the ball the right word? To invent and then impose a secondary tariff on countries that do business with Russia in exchange for the way that they attacked Ukraine. Do you think the heat death of the universe would happen before Kamala would figure that out and then find the balls to do it? Or do you think that she would have figured that out on day one?
So here's what's fascinating. I believe you when you say you're not a Republican, you're a Trump supporter, right? I'm just fascinated with why you look so hard to find like what a ninja this guy is when he's such a bubbling fool. That's what I don't get, Benjamin. Please explain that to me.
Oh shit! He has some totally genius, and he just like kept falling up, and it was really funny.
Being there with Peter Sellers, being there.
Well, it left so much on the table. It made it so easy to fail up for Donald Trump. So, what did RFK do? Like 4 days after he was in office, here's an idea. Let's take junk food out of schools. And I thought to myself, you seriously?
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Shai.
Oh, hey, she's like the third hottest chick on the app.
Oh my God, stop it, Roger. Hi, Roger. Hi, Serendipity.
Is that really you?
That is me.
That's not even like one of her top photos. She's like, no, I'm serious. When I said that she's like the third hottest on the app, I'm serious.
Honestly, that's a huge compliment. There's a lot of hot chicks on this app.
No fucking lie. There's been over 20 million downloads.
Right, that is a great question. Who's 1 and 2? The O'Brien app.
Number one is Monica.
Wait, what's
Roger,
Monica?
you're full of shit.
What's Monica? Monica Kaka?
Oh, we don't call her that no more. We call her Scarlet with 2 T's.
Scarlet. Okay, that's my girl. That's 2?
Yeah, no, she's number 1. Number 2, this one you guys probably are going to disagree with me on, but I do like older women, and so Shirley's number 2.
Shirley, I feel like I know
her. I would be so on it.
Nah, Curtis knows you too well because he guessed it right. He said number 2 is Shirley.
That's fucking wild. Curtis has been listening. I know I have a deal with Shirley. When her husband dies, I'm going to be appalled. She wishes that her husband would live a long life, but yeah, when it's over, it's over.
Gotta get on with it. Gotta get on with it.
Yeah, what was the girl's name that barked at me? She was different. She was exactly. I can't remember her name. If I go and look at my Cash App, I could find it because I did send her some money. In a small room, and she was telling a sad story, and I subsidized her. Yes, B-Worm. That was it. B-Worm. B-Worm.
Shout out to B-Worm.
Yes. B-Worm was cool though. She was funny. She's actually very attractive.
I've been in my own little corner of the app, to be honest. Especially like there's no more like conservative stuff out really. So
was it ever really conservative?
That's up for debate. But you know what I mean. Like the other side. They don't really exist anymore.
Yeah.
It really just be me and Jasmine in rooms, and whoever comes in.
Well, you go ahead, Danelle. Danelle's never seen a pretty woman before.
I've never seen it in my life.
I'm gonna go mute up so Danelle can talk to the most.
I'm gonna start stuttering. I'm already. It's pretty embarrassing. What's your background, Shishi?
As in, like, my ethnicity?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Your piece. Listen, I am the king of beautiful black women, and I'm just saying there is a difference. Shy Shy is like a cut above. You know, I mean, there's a million great musicians, but when you see like the best musician, you're like, wow.
Why was it ever a thing when slave owners used to get out the bed with their wives and walk out to the slave quarters and get black pussy? What was that about? You go to the slave quarters and fuck the women out here that are slaves, and they're black women with big booties. Why did they do that?
You know
the answer is in your question. They wanted some big booty. Exactly. Thank you. Like, hello? I'm not gonna lie, those African chicks, they're built different. Like, they got something.
Your piece. Are you old enough to remember National Geographic magazine?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out, like.
Oh, I'm asking you. Are you familiar with National Geographic magazine?
Yeah, but I'm just trying to figure out these.
So when I was growing up, that was my only exposure to seeing African American. Well, they weren't even American. They were African women with big titties, and some of them had like bones in their nose. Others had these rings on their neck, but they had some big ass titties.
So that was your go-to for masturbation. We got it.
Well, I also had a Miss Butterworth and an Aunt Jemima syrup bottle. Those were.
Thanks. That's it.
Hold on, your piece. Hold on. Y'all remember Walona from Good? Are we gonna point out Shirley from that show too? What's Happening didn't have cute chicks, but Good Times, you had the sister, you had the neighbor. Like when I was a kid, I used to have a crush on Janet Jackson. That was probably my first crush was Janet Jackson on Good Times.
I never understood that.
Are you talking about like guys that date Asian chicks?
Yeah, I never got it.
Well, not necessarily Asian. There's black women. I'm not gonna speak for him, but it's like I agree with that. I've never understood when I see a guy who's with a woman and the woman is just like straight up flat up and down, like she has no tits, no ass, straight up and down.
Like the legs are connected to the back.
Like I had to work my butt off to get nass because I had no tits. So my main focus is my ass, of course.
Wouldn't it be easier to just grow some titties?
I don't know. I've heard some bad things about these surgeries, man. I'm trying to stay away from it.
Yeah, me too.
Time you have a baby, you'll have a natural BBL. Your body will form into that. Your titties will get fat. It'll grow. Just give it a minute. Like, you haven't even had a baby yet.
Well, I've had two children, but after you breastfeed, maybe you didn't experience this, but I know many of my friends and family did. After you breastfeed multiple children, they get big for a minute, but then they deflate pretty.
They deflate after the time when the child starts eating like table food and they're not some stuff the whole time. No, I've had a couple kids. They're not gonna be the same. So you should fuck off.
Yeah, and some women they have one is a whole size larger than the others. Like I don't know. I'm the only one in my family that doesn't have a boob job. I'm like the last woman standing. And I feel like I just at this point like I'll just be different and be the one with small tits.
And then out my breast. Give me a break. If a woman is feeding kids or a baby 24/7, like every 6 hours with her breast, they're not gonna be looking the same. Can you guys just give her a break?
I don't think it's the men so much that put that pressure on us. I think it's just ourselves and kind of the comparison thing. I like that.
But that's good. Like, you still got somebody to understand it. Like, my neighbor, her husband was not understanding. Like, she's like,
she's a boob, man. Maybe, maybe getting
she's had a set of twins. They told her to wait here. That's so sad.
That is fucked up, especially she had twins, so she probably had some tearing. I mean, that's not cool.
You want to know what's crazy, Holly? I don't know if my pussy stretched out the older I got, but I tore more with the singleton versus the twins.
Is that because they were seconds?
Maybe.
Probably. Your first one. How big was your first? How big was your first?
All my kids were small.
Okay.
My first was like 6'4".
Yeah.
The twins were
that's wild though.
Within 5 pounds. They dropped down to like 4. The waterway.
Yeah.
We got a poll up.
What is this poll? Do you prefer big old titties, little old titties, or mid-sized titties? I don't know.
I wish there was an option for like any, any cities.
Yeah, my first shy was almost 10 pounds, and he was facing the back, so it's fucking horrible. So I definitely had tearing, and it was, not
What do you guys think of those big giant areolas? Like the big, like they look like buttermilk pancakes.
They look like pepperoni. Oh yeah.
I'm not a fan of a giant areola.
I think that's hot.
I only had tearing with my first daughter, because she did weigh almost 10 pounds, and that shit ripped my pussy, and I had to get stitches after that.
Oh yeah, me too. For sure, I had stitches. I think my areolas are on the bigger side, but I've definitely seen way, way, way bigger. I mean, mine aren't like National Geographic big.
Mine are pretty normal, thank God. Yeah, they're pretty normal.
Wait, is Mojo curating a intellectual discussion on Oreo?
They want to know, are you moderating Roger, because we're talking about if you get your pussy ripped?
Wow, this sounds very like a very profound philosophical question. Roger, you are doing an excellent job of elevating the discourse here on Clubhouse. Very good job, sir.
I appreciate that, Concrete, but when I talk about subjects, I like to know a little bit about them. So I know about them big old titties, them little old titties, the mid-sized titties. When I go into
that's what we're talking about, the pain that we have as women.
Yeah, and Roger seems to be doing a great job curating this conversation, and I apologize for interrupting. Please, Roger, please continue your conversation on areola size and using the penis as a birth canal. Congratulations.
Concrete, a lot of us have had so this is an include.
You're a bit in the matrix, but Concrete, you're going to have to give me a break here. I'm in the back channel. people are feeling the need to send me photographs of their titties. So I'm giving real-time feedback on titties. So give me a moment.
Yeah, congratulations. This sounds excellent. Sounds very high tier. And up there with Hegel and Aristotle, Thomas Aquinas. You're doing an excellent job, Roger. Excellent job.
I appreciate your support, Concrete. Concrete, where's Ike at?
Again, seems like a sus question. Very uncomfortable for me.
Why don't you ping him in?
Into your comfort zone.
Why don't you ping him in?
I'm sure your ping buttons works just as well as mine. Pause.
Yeah, probably not. Does this topic make you uncomfortable?
I just commended you for having a high conversation. I don't know why you would think that it would make me uncomfortable.
When's the last time you've been with a woman with great big old titties?
Again, a man asking another man that seems a little sus, and I'll just refrain from engaging.
You like to call that locker room talk. Have you ever been in a locker room?
Yeah. If you are comfortable having these type of conversations in the locker room where men are taking showers and so on and so forth, again, that's a you thing, bro.
Talking about titties?
I'm not gonna shame you for your preferences. I'm just not gonna indulge, right?
You don't indulge in titties?
Again, seems like you're trying to goad me into a conversation, and not interested.
Are you a homosexual? You're a homosexual?
Because I'm uncomfortable talking to you about this. Interesting.
Have you read your Bible, Conklin?
Yeah, it's getting real uncomfortable. You went from locker room talk to now you want to talk about the Bible. A little schizophrenic, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, I take this as my opportunity. I'm gonna take this as my opportunity to spit at you. You have a wonderful night, Roger. Great conversation.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for stopping by. All right. Interestingly enough, that we could talk about titties, and it's a better conversation than the room that he's going back to, called chillism. I feel better about myself to know that there's people that stupid. So I'm like kind of like, I'm a bit of a midwit, and so when I go in there, like I feel really intelligent.
Yeah, man. I used to go in there all the time, and then I got banned.
What? I thought it was a free speech zone.
I deserve the ban, though, to be fair.
What did you do?
Whatever.
What'd you do?
I don't even want to say it.
A hint?
I've released public information.
Oh, yeah, that's a violation even in this room.
Yeah, I was really upset at that time. I know I was wrong. I wouldn't do it again, but I was really upset.
That's okay. You've grown. You've learned from your mistakes. I think it's probably worth it to have gone through it to end up where you're at today.
I think so too. That room is a room that triggered people.
Well, they banned too many people though, and made it to the where they kind of made it this like
now. So
yeah, I was off the app for about 7 months, and then I came back. Then I got clipped for like 3 days, and then I'm back. But I'm gonna be on a week-long vacation, so I won't see you, kind people, until what's that? The 22nd. It's still nice this time of year.
That's cool. You said we. Is there a lovely lady in your life, or in your?
What? Why she gotta be lovely?
What size are her areolas?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Joe, don't let them drag you into this stuff. You're the one that's supposed to class up the joint. What the hell? Jesus.
I don't speak often.
I know. And then you're asking me about a female's areolas. It's very uncomfortable, I have to be honest. I think Concrete's right about this room.
But when he does, it packs a punch.
Whew. I guess you and I would have never worked out, though, Joe, in the end.
No, I think in the beginning we would have problems too, but
But no, you said you got a nice ass. It would have worked for a minute.
To counteract the aerial.
Yeah, you just keep the shirt on and cover them baloney titties, and we'll be fine.
Oh, come on.
It's okay.
Holly, if you're on the list, I mean, it's long and distinguished, but I could get you on the list. But if you look at my PR,
Why was Concrete so uncomfortable talking about females? And that was so weird. I just had to say it because it didn't bother me.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Not only that, like, when people try to get biblical, I feel like they put so much on the woman, and I'm so tired of it. You know,
I like putting so much on the woman.
She couldn't have let you know what? She shouldn't have never led you to any garden with food and just let you starve. She could do that.
The biggest problem with chillism, it isn't that so much that they're stupid; it's that they refuse to stay where they're at.
Hey, yo, one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, fucking snap. Like, I don't care what anyone says.
Oh, pockets. The woman of letters, and you know these words very well. But how about math? 814 times 1,000.
I didn't hear. I didn't hear. But I need encouragement today. I need encouragement today.
Got it. So number 3 most attractive woman on the app was Shy. Number 1, you guys know I have to go with Monica. But Shirley, out of all the women that have ever downloaded this app, you are the 2 most attractive woman on the app.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's absolutely precious.
Yeah. Do you remember playing Monopoly and you get the card that says you won second place in a beauty contest? Shirley, I'm gonna mail you one of those cards.
So what? In what context were we having this conversation?
Well, Shy came in here and like all the guys like jacked off on themselves because she's a very attractive young woman, and we complimented her and we let her know that she's the 3rd most attractive woman on the app. And so somebody asked the question, well, who's number 1 and who's number 2? And I think everybody was able to guess that, Monica's my number 1. But I will say Curtis picked it correctly. Curtis was the one that said that Shirley is number 2. And that is true, Shirley. You are the 2nd most beautiful woman on this app.
Well, that is very kind. I appreciate that.
Losers in this room.
I thought there was going to be...
You get a trophy.
I thought there was going to be a mojo.
Very charming man.
You know this.
What, I'm not charming? I'm not charming. I didn't say anything about your charm or lack of charm, dear. I just said Mojo's charming. Shirley, I described to them our arrangement, and some people cringed, and it was like, oh, that's not good. Can you describe to them what our arrangement is?
He's saying this to be charming. It is charming. The thing is there's going to be a lot of girlfriends between now and then because my husband's going to live to be 92 at least, right?
At least 92. We're hoping for 102.
Absolutely. One day we were horsing around and someone said that I wasn't a Christian. I said they didn't have a sense of humor.
What? Scarlett, we had a Clubhouse beauty contest. Any idea where you finished?
Well, as a beluga whale that's 575 pounds and 75 years old with a limp, I'm thinking I got first place.
You did, girl. Look at my PTR.
You get it, girl.
just tell you, Monica, you won first place, Shirley came in second place, Shy came in third place, and then all of the rest of the women on all of Clubhouse tied for fourth.
Holly has honorable mention. Just that's it.
Can I just mention something else that's big? And that's the budget for the United Nations at $10 billion a month. We spend $10 billion a month at the United Nations. Does anyone here want to keep working, 5 days a week to fund the United Nations here for $10 billion a month? That's what we've been spending for 25 years. It's unbelievable.
What does Grok say about how much money we spend on gender studies in Pakistan?
I could ask.
I saw an interview once. Who was it? Tucker Carlson interviewed someone, and they talked about soft power, and they said that that's actually strategic to infect the Middle East with woke, toxic leftist ideologies to weaken power.
Do you like hard power?
By the way, that's my nickname.
Every time I talk, I'm going to talk about John Kitover's campaign because, from what I understand, I thought
taxpayer dollars go to. I know that you guys like to think that it only pays for roads. But it pays for treadmills.
you can video. There's video. No, seriously, it's a giant shrimp on a treadmill in the water.
Is it Biden?
Wait, hold on. John, can you look up and see?
Brad did. Brad said you did.
I don't know about y'all, but I think it's been a pretty productive day on Clubhouse.
I like the fact that we recruited some people for the campaign. That was pretty good.
Well, I did get a text message. I wanted to share it with you all. This is what Edward wrote.
This doesn't sound good to your voice.
This is what he wrote me back via text message. Looking at comments looks like spamming and waste of time.
Wow,
So just wish him well and thank him for his time. That's all.
You know what that tells me? That tells me that the operatives from the Darren LaHood campaign, they sabotage yours. You might want to think about a lawsuit over that.
Well, I think I should be able to sue just on ballot access. But you can't really get any justice. It's very difficult, and it's a rigged political industrial complex.
Okay, so this man had no job. He answered a Craigslist ad, which means he kind of needs a job. And because of Clubhousers, he turned down a paying gig.
Well, the chat.
You know what? That was my fault. As soon as he agreed, we should have shut down the chat that way, and then removed certain people from the stage. Then he could have had a positive experience.
I've seen shrimp on treadmills, but when you actually, yeah, it's the bacterium in shrimp and stuff like that caused by environmental factors and also overfishing can cause higher blood lactic levels in the shrimp and decreased endurance and longevity of the shrimp's life. So I get we're running shrimp on treadmills, but if you spoke to a scientist, you'd probably be like, there's actually a reason why we're doing it.
So, Rich, here's the problem, right? I can say the most absurd thing, like shrimp. We pay for shrimp to run on treadmill, and there's going to be somebody that's going to say, yeah, I like that. Then there's going to be somebody that defends the gender studies in Pakistan. Then there's going to be a whole group of people that are going to defend the spending that we have on the military-industrial complex. Then there's going to be a group of people that supports the spending that we do on Medicare, and then Social Security. The interest on the debt is the third largest line item, and the reason why is because people like you think that we should defend the right to taxpayer dollars to fund treadmills, for sure.
No.
No, you're right. You're right. With only $37 trillion in debt, we should do more of these experiments. Fucking, like, how are we ever going to know if our food's
Gotta be. You think that's like important or no?
Well, honeybees are crucial to the ecosystem. That's a little
Someone that thinks the Earth is only like 4,000 years old?
No.
Okay, so how old is the Earth?
I would have to look up the amount of billions of years that it is old, but I don't have the exact number. Yeah.
And how long do you think human beings have been walking on the Earth?
I think it's like estimated like Homo sapiens, like 150, 200,000 years.
Gotcha. And Homo erectus probably another like 40,000 years.
So wait, do you think I'm trying to justify global climate change and stuff like that, or do you think I'm saying that maybe over polluting, overfishing, and stuff like that's bad for
That's not my argument, but I'll get to my argument. My argument is this: we got to where we're at by not worrying about a lot of that shit. And now that we have all these studies, and we can now tell you, the BMI of a fucking shrimp, all of a sudden the world is a much unsafer place. Everybody's got more worries. We're more stressed out. We're more depressed. I think we should go back to a time when we didn't have these worries.
I know. What was the estimate on sperm whales and humpback whales 150 years ago in comparison with now today? And then on top of that, the environmental factors of putting these large wind farms out in the ocean and fucking whales now suiciding themselves on the fucking beach. I mean, I think we should study some of that stuff and figure out if we're gonna accidentally fucking wipe out all the fish and wipe out all the fucking shrimp and wipe out all the fucking humpback whales, and then we shouldn't be making that might affect the entire ecosystem of the entire fucking ocean, or that might affect the entire ecosystem of the entire fucking ocean, or harvesting whales to make fucking lipstick, or just fucking allowing the Japanese to fucking just murder every fucking whale in the ocean so they can fucking eat them. Just murder every fucking whale in the ocean so they can fucking eat them. Probably a bad idea. We should probably look into that.
Did you guys know that they fucking made snails?
I understand that it sounds cartoonish to shrimp run on a treadmill, but I had somebody explain it, and I was like, that doesn't sound right. There's no way that it's actually an environmental thing. And then I look it up, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, this sounds like fucking something that we can do. We should probably figure out if, we're going to lose all the shrimp in the ocean.
What about
all the
the
fucking
beagle
honeybees,
experiments? What about the beagle experiments done by Fauci? Those were super
They were horrific and terrible. I agree. But there might be a valid reason why they were doing that. Valid reason why they were doing that. I don't agree with a fucking beagle.
Wasn't that the point to use those types of animals because they have weaker systems, kind of like ours, to where so I feel like that's why they do that, which is fun, but that's why they did it.
Okay, that guy is an evil ass. That's why he did it.
Yeah, I thought you were.
Come on. Anyway.
No, there's got to be another reason besides that.
Don't we test anthrax on fucking rhesus monkeys to figure out the effects on the human body? When somebody gets exposure and try to make up fucking different types of things to try to combat things like anthrax. I get what you're saying, but
we test almost everything on monkeys. It's fucked up. We test almost everything on them. Yeah.
So millions of people don't die. I get that. It totally makes sense.
Yeah.
We create viruses that weren't in nature and soup them up to see if we can make a vaccine against. I'm sorry, Fauci is an ass. Okay, it's late. I need to mic up.
Well, they didn't do it to make a vaccine. They did it to try to further the advancement in bioweapons. I mean, the Ukrainians are doing it, the Chinese are doing it. But it's not to try to make a vaccine. They're trying to figure out how to fucking wipe out mass groups of people.
There we go. The same guy who puts the flies on the beagle wants to know how to wipe out the old people. Let's
how conspiratorial do you need to make me be tonight?
Well,
You know,
what
come
question
on.
what Shirley, what would you say, conspiracy or conspiracy theory?
I don't think it's a conspiracy theory. I think it's
Because a
true.
conspiracy is just 3 or more people involved in conspiring against someone or a group of people. So, like, a theory is just a theory. That's all.
Well, I got a theory.
Oh, how many conspiracies are happening on Clubhouse?
Conspiracy theories or conspiracies?
Conspiracies.
Shut up, Rick.
Maybe that was too much. I'm sorry.
Hold on. I think there should be a tiered approach to this. Like if they want to remove a moderator from the stage, that's got to be at least worth $50 or $100.
Damn.
I'm going to be spending a lot of time in the goo, and I do want to make sure it's worth it.
Yeah, but we're not the stage. Y'all be talking to yourself.
How much would it cost to remove a moderator? Yeah, that's not worth it. We need like a tiered structure, like, $200 and Monica and all her other accounts are gone permanently for the room.
$1,000, and I would get half.
Maybe on your life insurance policy.
No, Rich. Put up or shut up, because you're annoying. You got the money, Daddy Warbucks. I heard you own your own business. You're doing great.
Scarlett, can I just, I want to provide a little pushback here. I think you're priceless.
I think this is a terrible idea, and you're putting a target on my back, sir.
The link.
And if you're going to insist on...
Wow, link is in the chat, everybody. Link is in the chat. Daddy Warbucks, where are you at? Well, negotiate.
Well, you guys pick John Letier. He's got deep pockets. And then what we'll do is we'll tell him that Verizon is better than T-Mobile, and then whoever says that, he'll want to remove them, and then maybe we can get $1,000 from him.
I don't know. I mean, I would agree with that had T-Mobile not came out to this Starlink. So the Starlink feature's pretty badass with T-Mobile.
John, let me know when the money comes through so I can move myself.
You said that you were going to go down.
I will go down in the month for $1,000.
I like this music.
Okay, so you have 5 minutes for y'all to pull your little pennies together to donate to John Kitover. We don't even need a single donation. If 10 people do all...
But Scarlett, what if you gave 50%?
Because I think that's bullshit.
Scarlett, you think it's bullshit?
Within Clubhouse itself, there was a room, and I'm not going to be specific because that would violate the rules, but there was a room earlier that was talking about, is it acceptable to kiss children on the mouth or not? And if so, is it considered sexual in nature?
Was this a Buddhist room that was talking about the Dalai Lama?
What an awkward
No, it was not me involved in the conversation, Fatima. No, I did not jump in that shit.
Hold on. Here's another way that we can raise money. What if for every $10 you give, you can cause somebody from the goo that's never spoken to come up and say their, just give an opinion. You get to ask them one question. Like, for example, let me look. Now, all of these motherfuckers speak Kirill. For $10, I would donate here to put people down and to bring them up. Anybody want to put Kristen down? We're taking bids, starting at $1.
more than $1.
Scarlett?
District. I'll just put the ads up in Chicago and get some college graduates to work on the campaign. Chicago's got a lot of unemployed college graduates. So
Tomorrow, call the University of Chicago, ask them what their process is for tabling, and then bring a folding table with a tablecloth bring a stripe so you can take the donations right there. University of Chicago has a lot of people.
4 more minutes before the offer expires, getting me removed from the stage for an hour.
Monica, can I just say I love your PTR?
I got $20 for Monica. What
do you think?
Hakima, can you do $40? $40.
You know what I can give for $40 in a day? You know what I can give for $40? No, I'm not.
For 20 minutes, Akima, 20 minutes of not hearing my Karen voice on stage. 20 minutes.
Hakima, the way.
Like this thing, $20 for 20 minutes is pretty good. That's $1 a minute. That's really good.
I am negotiating this contract, Rich. Stay out the way because you haven't donated.
$60 an hour.
You haven't donated. You shouldn't even be on the stage. There been any donations in the last 7 minutes because this offer's about to expire.
Well, I think whoever makes a donation is going to speak up, but we haven't really had a meeting of the minds yet. Hakima, can we do halfway at 30?
30 for 20 minutes.
30 for 35 minutes.
This is exciting. Maybe I could auction myself off. Actually, you know, when I was in college, I organized a date auction while I was living in Australia, and we raised.
No, Hakima, you got to negotiate that you get to be a mod for that few seconds to kick her.
I don't think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Have the ability to kick her down. You can move yourself right back
Yeah,
out.
that's good. That's great.
I was a little tight there, but that was just so appealing what you just said. But that wasn't part of the deal. I'm going to be next time. I will do it again. I'm going to send it.
How about an extra for that?
Extra $40 in the end. You can't remove yourself, Charlotte. I got to do it.
No, sir, that wasn't part of the deal. I will not let you touch my PTR. No hands on me, please.
Her PTR, her choice.
Maybe we can do a campaign date auction where we auction off the most beautiful girls on Clubhouse to a Clubhouse date.
Ooh, I got 5 months actually.
Alright, this is feeling uncomfortable like slavery, so we probably should stop right here.
Why? Because I picked a black woman?
No.
Well, don't you understand? This is the new DEI CRT policy. He's going to kick you to the goo.
No, he's not going to touch me. I will move myself down as soon as you confirm payment.
No, he included the extra $5.
Alright, there you go. Alright. Kima is now a moderator. Oh, come on. User is not in the room. What?
Attaboy.
I owe $5. Let me send the $5.
That felt good, didn't it, Hakima?
Can I just say that despite the fact that I like we're raising money, seeing Monica move to the goo, that just doesn't feel good for me. I really like her being, oh man.
Return the money. You send it back to me, Rod, if you like it that much. Let's see how much you care.
I don't have control of.
Link is in the chat. Link is in the chat. Link is in the chat.
Oh, so I'd have to give Hakima the $40 back plus give 40 to the kid.
Yes. Yep. To reverse it.
Anybody want to pay to get Kristen off the stage? Kristen off the stage?
You keep asking that. All you have to do is say, hey, can you go? And I'm like, okay, bye.
We're trying to raise money.
And I'm like, okay, bye.
We're trying to raise money. How about this? Say annoying things. Tell them about crochet needles.
Do you also?
I gotta get it all set up. I'm not campaigning very well today.
Oh, you're in trouble.
It's a practice run. It's all good. It's all good.
What did you say, Dippity?
It's not funny, y'all. Monica left.
This might be the funnest day in the month ever. Oh, you're in trouble. These back channel.
Well, thank you, Hakima, very much.
It's like a celebrity charity event where you get to dunk the celebrity. Like, tell them to fucking have a little fucking what's that word? Philanthropy in it. Like, what is wrong with it?
She says she didn't consent to you touching her PTR.
It is the dunk tank.
Damn Negro touched my PTR. She gotta go wash her PTR now.
Well, to catch Nye up on the drama, Nye, Kima paid $40 so he could goo Monica, and Monica isn't happy. What? No. Roger, you let that go down? Listen.
Campaign.
It was a campaign donation, and I couldn't do anything. Look, I did not make it up. I just took advantage of the opportunity.
Well done. Well done.
That was a
Pay more and kick him out of the room altogether.
Hey, so let Monica know this is not my first time paying somebody.
I don't think you should put a price on me, Hakima.
Oh, wait, is she gone for the rest of the night? I mean, the rest of her life. I'm pretty sure that it did not violate any campaign finance laws. And if it did, I'm sure we can explain ourselves around it.
I had the honor and the privilege of going fucking Monica. That it was money well.
Well, anyone can go on a monthly subscription fee to donate to the.
If you give a monthly subscription option of $100, if you select to give monthly for $100, you can remove people from the stage whenever you want. Oh my word, that is not fair, Mojo.
And they're always in mine.
That's not cool.
Hey Roger, don't tempt me, Roger. Do not fucking tempt me.
So Roger, $40. How do I? So Roger, all you're saying is that we have to do is just self-dox ourselves. That's all we have to do.
Campaign needs that much money. I am willing to sacrifice myself and leave this live stream and head to Emerald Island to go see beautiful college girls drinking.
That's a pure fucking politician right there and a capitalist. I love it, John.
Are you sure you're not Catholic, John? Because of the Catholic
I went to
Church,
Catholic
every time
school.
I get that.
I've taken the sacrament. I've put the wafer on my tongue.
This makes sense. Now I understand where you get this from.
It's, crucifix is just a phallus. So putting the phallus on a piece of little wafer, paper bread, ingesting it, it's like getting $40 from Hakima and kicking Monica to the goo. It's transcendent.
I'm clutching my pearls.
All up in the mouth.
Everybody better clutch their pearl from now on. I promise you all.
But honestly, the YouTube clips of that bit about kicking her to the goo for $40 is hilarious because there is something funny about those that I'm talking on the social audio chat app. But when they hear Monica's voice, it creates dopamine.
So the only person they know on this app is El Normal. So they're always like, "Is that El Normal?" No, it's not.
My ex-boyfriend had an intervention. He was like, "You need to delete this app," because I was screaming into the phone about something political.
Hit the subscribe button now.
He was like,
No, just spreading.
She was over there all the time.
Spreading gossip by gossip by
Mod intuition. She's been a mod in there longer than I'm here.
What a queen. What a beautiful queen. Yeah, that video's up to 80 views.
I don't think you should put a price on me, Hakimo.
But Scarlett, what if you gave 50?
Because I think that's bullshit.
Yeah, that video's already at 100 views. That one could put us over the top. 2 new subscribers.
The thing is, she's like, Hakima's now a mod, and then of course she's gonna boot you. Like, don't mod him.
That was funny. When I saw I was a mod, I would look at my phone when I was trying to get to that fucking.
You couldn't do it fast enough.
I almost broke my fucking finger and my phone.
So I am going to post in Chicago to try to find, digital content strategists as well, because I figure like now is the time to at least. In absence of Monica, that we all take the deepest breath of the day. Hold it for.
Possible donors that you're gonna have problems. Oh my word, that's not fair. They're always a mess. Cool.
To read a poem on behalf of the campaign. It's called Greed and Generosity. Look at her face. You can think of branches green and always slightly moving. How long should you look at Earth's face? Come back and look again.
John, are you going to stop recording?
Well, I mean, I was just gonna let it, run live.
The reason I ask is we might run music in here.
That's always the danger when I step out of my live stream office. I think Politically Correct must have played Notorious B.I.G. and Tupac about like 20 times on me. I had to keep running back to the phone and lowering the volume. They watch and then they try to purge. They watch and purge.
Fun little tactic. You got to give it to him for that.
Yeah. But the craziest part is like nobody's watching it. But if people go back and they watch some of these rooms that I've recorded, it's, I don't know, I think it's just a sound wall, But if you like create a clip out of what somebody said and it's, very profane and vulgar, now you have, index of people saying profane, vulgar things.
The issue is there's just too much content. If there was only a couple of clips, even if they were, a few hours long, you can go through it. But nobody's going to click on every video and watch hours of it. They're just not going to do it.
Oh, I agree. I think it's the SoundCloud, sound wall. But I do think it's also funny that, people who know me on this app, who do do a quick scan. You know, maybe they want to see themselves or they see people they know. Like my mirror of Clubhouse has created its own like platform, aka, you know, it is this app. I don't know if it's the best of this app, but you know, it's a lot of this app. So I'm just saying that that extra replatforming on 3 different platforms creates like a forced network, basically.
You should get with IO to figure out how to just set up a API that calls for every single room to get recorded, and then use AI to spin up the feed into YouTube. If set up correctly, you could literally stream every single room 24/7 onto YouTube.
Well, I could set that up in about 5 minutes. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I did actually invest in this startup that I launched. We were recording poker rooms. It was called pokerpeeper.com. My friend was a very successful poker player and he was using something called Poker Shark. I was like, well, let's just clone it and start our own, you know, poker scraper. But
Poker Shark, the sites loved it because when it brought mediocre players to playing at higher stakes and buying in more and all this shit. But it also caused a situation. It started giving advantages to some people after enough data was collected that it made people want to leave and then they started doing the bot blocking. But I don't know if that's really super helpful because all it would tell you is it would just say this is their tendency to call pre-flop. This is their tendency to call or fold or raise on the flop. But in order to do that, you still have to have the cards to be able to play back at them. And what if you fucking run into it? You fucking get good cards. Let's say you get jacks, and your opponent that's using Poker Shark happens to have kings, queens, or aces. You can find yourself in big trouble over relying on that shit.
So, okay. Well, oddly enough, I ran for president and it didn't work out that great, but happy to chat with you privately.
Now is all important, so why don't you just, you know, tell me what you would want to tell me in private and public? Let's hear what you want to say.
Okay, so Mojo will probably kick me in under a couple minutes for this, but it's going to be incredibly in under 3 minutes.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, so here we go. And Mojo will probably kick me, but setting everything aside, politics, religion, everything, humanity is right now sandwiched between AI, which is black boxed, meaning that no one knows how it works or how to deal with it. And the third thing is a planet that comes into our solar system once every several thousand years that is causing all the earthquakes and fires and floods and everything else, right? So those 3 things are what are controlling humanity right now. And if you really want to cultivate the basic core premise of what humanity has concern about, it is the concern about those 3 things that they don't understand how it's impacting their reality. I think I'm done, actually.
You believe in Nibiru or Planet X? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, so you have Planet X, you have AI, which is negative ET inspired and controlled, and which is designed to, you know, manipulate as many people into slavery as possible. You have central bank digital currency systems. Yeah, man. So, you know, if you want to win, dude, you have to meet humans where humans are at. And humans, like much of humanity at a basic level, is somewhat aware of these things because they've become personally affected. So if you're going to be at some political layer, you can't win. You know, you have to go to the layer above, you know? So that's what I was going to be doing as president, saying that kind of shit, and people would never want to deal with it. So, so there you go. But so that's it.
How does that guarantee victory? No, but walk me through the math. How do you win?
I only have 8 seconds left, but you just tell people the truth of what situation they're in, and they'll love you forever and always.
I'm not sure that would work.
I think.
And then a clown and a rhino and a dollar emoji. So, I mean, Mojo and a dollar emoji. So, I mean, Mojo got 144 views on that post. What have you done for the campaign today?
My D is I have an email database of every American. I'll go on your X page. Let me see what happened.
What the fuck is happening?
Which candidacy are you running for again?
Oh, he's drunk and he's Roger. If you're wondering what's going on.
I just explained the whole situation of humanity. So.
Oh, Times Square. Can you explain to Roger and all of us about how you have hundreds of millions of dollars lawsuits?
No, because I just explained. I explained all kinds of things.
Hey, hold on. Hakima, how much time we got left for bringing up the girl? Hakima. Anyone got the math on this? Nobody?
Yeah, we are.
I think the timer's reset to another 35 minutes.
No. How much more time is Scarlett in the goo?
I think there's.
Probably got like about 10 minutes at the most. Yeah.
Oh no, she's at 20 minutes. She's still got 20 minutes. No doubt. No. Yeah. Yeah.
Scarlett, I'm sorry. I'm trying to bring you up.
So I'm on your X profile, John. Not what you're saying just now. I don't know if you can hear that. Okay, so there's no post that actually happened with this whole person you were talking about.
Living my life in love. I don't know if you're aware of this, though, but this is a Mojo positive vibration experience based in love. Don't you get that, though?
Okay. Sure. All right. That doesn't really mean anything to me, but
I'm going to tweet at the Chicago Tribune right now.
Wow. That's real work. Do you see that, though? He's getting us in touch with one of the largest communication networks in the Chicagoland area. What have you done for the campaign today, though?
And the values of that party have to be so uniting that it sweeps everything, dude. You know? Let me tell you what happened with the vax. You know what happened with the vax? And then, now we have Trump in, then the Republicans.
Conversation along quicker than you might want it to move. But Mojo, could we maybe get a bid auction to have the removed from the stage? $10. Anybody here want to spend $10 getting the kicked to the goo? Go in the chat right now. The is up for auction at $10 to the goo.
I'll spend $20 instead.
Okay. Link is in the goo. Link is in the chat though. Go ahead. It's in the chat. Go ahead, though. $20 in the chat. Find the link.
If he pays $100 between now and March, as long as he obeys the rules of the House, he has complete immunity from being removed from stages.
Wow, that's like a membership card to a country club.
Where'd he go?
Well, he demonetized himself, obviously.
I feel so bad. Like I picture myself.
Have you ever seen the movie Spartacus? No, I'm sorry, Ben-Hur, while Charlton Heston is rowing in, the galley of that Roman warship. Sunshine outside, which I'm sure she will. Scarlett, I just hope that sunshine outside, which I'm sure she will. Scarlett, I just hope that when you come on, to the top deck of this ship in the goo, that you bring so much more positive vibrations to this room. And I just want you to know this silence in the goo is, sponsored by Hakima. And, take this moment to just be in the now. If you're in your car, drive from point A to point B, and go do all the things you have to do that you would normally not be doing because you're talking here and talking and thinking, and maybe you're just sitting in your car not going from point A to point B, or maybe
I hope you come back as a better person. I hope this teaches her the whole life lesson as you come back as a better.
I will say the chimpanzee in the flannel drinking a cup of coffee, I don't know. To me, Monica, if you can't put your actual picture up in the PTR, but you're going to put up, monkey type of beautiful light flower you are as a monkey in a flannel. Come on, Monica, do better. This is your Monica Roast, brought to you by Hakima. Clubhouse is a social audio chat app with a roast feature where you can either self-roast or pay to roast obnoxious people. Obnoxious, we're saying she can be extremely obnoxious, as anyone can be on this app when you are hypnotized with the voice of a sweet southern belle that sounds just so perky and fun and sweet and, pointy. But that's what $40 gets you: silence, peace, harmony, equilibrium, balance.
John, did you
Podcast, something called like the Southern Belt or the Farmers Belt podcast or something. They're interviewing all candidates. So we got that coming up, which will be great.
How many more minutes for Scarlett?
She's at the 7-minute mark.
Damn. I miss you, girl.
If you want, you could do a conjugal visit. Just go down to the goo and come back up.
And he did it. That shit is hilarious. He in solidarity.
Wow, that's romantic. I feel like Romeo and Juliet. That's love.
That's real poetic right there.
There's.
Serendipity. How about you? You feel in solidarity with Monica? You want to go join them in the group for 5 minutes?
I appreciate Mojo going down there. I was gonna go down there and share in the solidarity with her, but I decided to stay up here.
So your name is Serendipity, not Solidarity. I get it.
That's okay. I've heard way worse, Hakima.
Mojo, there's also a lot of newspapers in Peoria and Rockford that do have X accounts, do have websites, etc. So, outreach to those is could be, useful and helpful as well. And also reaching out to other candidates. Of love, copying and pasting one at a time. I'm sure there's, I don't even know, if there's X marketing, if there's an X, mass marketing, we could use this app to get a lot of this work done by asking people in the room to actually do some things, maybe.
Hey, for the record, I invited Scarlett to the stage. I don't think she wants this Negro to bring up back up.
Wait, has Scarlett donated any money or no?
Bring it up back up.
Wait, has Scarlett donated any money or no? To the campaign? She should donate a penny. No, better yet, I'm saying like donate 2 cents.
Stop. Rich, stop. Stop it. She's back. It's my girl. Let's see. Boom. It's my girl. Let's see. Boom.
I'm gonna move down. Bring it back up.
Mojo?
No, Roger, I was simply making a joke that somebody could add their 2 cents, you know? Like,
Scarlett, can I ask you a question?
I would forbid her from donating precisely because of people like you.
oh, it wouldn't be me. I've made it very clear I would never dox anybody.
That's blatantly untrue. I have screenshots to prove what you've done.
I would love. Oh, you talking about?
You made an offhand comment of something that I could trace, and then I went looking for it, and then I found it, and then I'm going to tell you, and not only you, but everyone else, how I did it, so that they can find you too. You obnoxious snot.
I'm totally fine if anybody finds out who I am because I don't have a record. I'm not a chomo, not registered sex offender, none of those things.
I don't think you understand what I just told you, which makes me deduct 20 IQ points from you.
Oh, no, you said that I slipped up and said something that made it easier for
moron.
you.
You said that to someone else, Bright Star.
That you're saying that I said something that gives information about myself that would not be
Rich, I don't care about you. I don't want to know about you. In fact, the less I know about you, the better.
I'm trying to figure out what you're meaning.
I'm saying that you did that to someone else, and I have screenshots to prove it.
Wait, are you still bringing up the Solomon thing? Because Solomon's already conceded that it wasn't doxing.
We'll Google her next. Who's doing this poll? And who are the why would you say Dippity would move me?
It's LaHood, and everybody has a Darren LaHood PTR. So, it's working. Adams is spreading the Darren LaHood mind virus into Clubhouse.
You definitely need to share that. Darren LaHood campaign rally.
Right. So let me ask you a question. Why are you capping for them, dude? So who's capping for anybody? You haven't even allowed me to ask my fucking to create aspersions on my character.
I don't want to interrupt your room, but that room is running, which is very funny.
No, it's cool. I like hearing that. Like, can we get a couple more minutes of that? I want to hear where they're at with this conversation.
Well, Keegan, the thing is though, you're in the same fucking private chat that I'm in, dude. You've heard what I've said to KK. Keegan is he was like a stan of mine. He basically, in a way looked up to me. I was the person that kind of I was like the quote unquote Clubhouse famous person that would do content kind of like what he tries to do, and what he said about is somebody's dead wife who died of cancer. Hold on, cut you off. No, shut the fuck up. Hold on. No, this is the most important part.
I just want to let everybody know that they're being streamed on YouTube because John Kitover is not in the room, right? So again, Pepe, I'm not your enemy.
Who is John? Which one is John?
Congress down in the bottom.
Oh, Congress? That's it?
Right. You're welcome, Pepe. You're welcome. Okay, so let's remove.
Hey guys, I'm gonna say good night.
They kicked me. No, that was the room. I hope you all enjoyed that. That was fun.
That was great.
So much speaking that, to record the room or the cell phone versus recording my face, I'm just trying to change the cameras and rotate.
John, I
I really haven't ever heard you speak very much. I did hear you run and see what's going on, and you might consider taking this new path and letting.
Supporter of candidate Kitover. I think he's the man.
Okay, I'm going to go to bed. You guys.
Before you do, can you share something?
Twitter's on my other phone. Are you want me to share something that
we'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it
okay,
tomorrow.
but tell me what you want.
Well, we've been in the area to weigh in on this.
Okay. I will lay my hand on the phone in the morning, and I'll get these instructions in the morning when I'm fresh. I'm passing out. Today I passed out a Splash, some kind of drink called Splash. It was okay, y'all. You might try it. Tomorrow I'm passing out good, better pizza. So I need to be smiley tomorrow. And so I can grin and be sweet to all the people that I'm trying to pass out good, better pizza. And
I would guess homeless people. I'm guessing she's working with her church. You know, to be honest, man, I don't know. I really haven't been able to look into both of you guys. I know John's here. I don't think I've heard LaHood. Is LaHood on the app, or is that just someone that
how can you engage in?
Well, he's got a bunch of political operatives that are asking the room right now.
Yeah, do you want it?
You know, I heard their room yesterday. I showed you what up.
See, that's a good example of how anonymous is valuable. Because
you doing the paperwork to run for Congress, whether you win it out another story. But whether you were a troll or not, is besides the point at this point. Like you're taking a positive step in the right direction. Like standing up for what you believe in. But for people to be mad about it is
that I made earlier. There is people that I would actually dox, and that would be like a mirror sort of. But it would be to the end.
Sorry, Gildas, what were you saying prior to that interruption? I doubt you remember, but welcome to In the Muff. Pay to goo, your least favorite.
That wasn't an interruption. You finished.
Jones politics, but that is utter. I'm not going to Jones politics, but that is utter. I'm not going to do that. Like, that's crazy.
Exactly.
Like, get a hobby. That's crazy.
They don't even know what the fuck LaHood is. They never heard that fucking name until John brought it up. And now they have some fucking fake campaign for him. Like
this anonymous account, they're not going to be able to block this one. Do you want to hear the room?
Fire when ready, sir.
Pepe, as much as I love you, buddy, I'm holding people accountable.
Nah, he is.
You spoke.
On God.
Yeah. Shut your mouth.
Okay, but why are you keeping standing up for this fucking